skills. We are officially... Well, there we go. All the live things are freaking out just the way I like it. Alright, we should now officially be live on Twitch. I will go ahead and begin the show. We gotta catch up real quick and just say thank you to Pure Sushi for the follow. Death Star for the Tier 1 subscription for 4 months in a row. We want live bit. Here's some live bit. Tyler for the $1 pledge on Patreon. And Dreamomir for the follow. Thank you. Appreciate all of that while I was not online. Alright, so we're going to jump into the show here in a second. Let me get up my music. And oh yeah, let me turn off the game sounds here. That's something I completely forgot to do during the pre-show. But we had some sick beats kind of on the underlines. You don't really hear it. It's kind of like just an ambient thing. So it's not a big deal. But let me just... Yes, I'm having a good time. Let me just quickly pop in audio. Global mute that bad boy. And then get back to my friendly little pets here. They love me so much. Okay. All right. We're going to get ready to the show now in 3, 2, 1. You're listening to Runescape Weekly for... No, Magebit. Try again. Try again, buddy. My mind flooded myself thinking the volume was too low. All right. 3, 2, 1. You're listening to RuneScape Weekly for 6/16/18. I'm your host, Magebit, with over 17 years of RuneScape experience. Joining me today is Pyrnassius, Dxthelb, Hana, and the RR Man. On today's show, Hall of Memories, Summer Pinatas, Group Ironman Devlog, Open Discussion Pride Event, RuneScape Troll released from prison, RuneScape Classic Proposal, Fake Emails, Just don't use offer walls. Alt 1 users are cheaters. Can empathy save PvP? And how to be a noob, Noob Edition. Thank you for tuning into this edition of RuneScape Weekly, and enjoy the show. Welcome back for your Friday edition of RuneScape Weekly. Magebit here. We got a full lineup here. I announced R-Man in the intro anyway, in case he shows up. If he doesn't show up when he listens to the show, he'll just feel bad about it, that's all. Anyway, we got a good show.
Manipulation tactics.
Yes, psychological manipulation tactics. Live, I'm going to die to Abyssal Demons, aren't I? Because I didn't have... Come on, Magebit. Come on, Magebit, you can do it! Anyway, we got a show here.
Seriously, you're going to die at Abyssal Demons?
I forgot to turn Soul Split on when I was turning sound off. And I have
quickly hit your enhanced Excalibur.
Yeah, I did. We're okay. We're all right. I made it back.
Oh.
I die at least.
Don't you take urns down there with you?
Nope, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I'm lazy. I'm super AFK. The only thing I'm worried about is inventory management. I try to. I pick everything up off the ground when I can.
Urns stack now.
They do stack.
Auto teleport. So
they do. They auto teleport now.
They auto teleport. Yep.
All right, I'll start bringing urns. I got a bunch in my bank. I didn't have the time to.
Just go into. I think you go into settings. I think you need to go into settings and just turn auto teleport, and they just because that's what I do when I AFK down there. I've just got a bunch of urns. I've actually got the urn enhancer as well for the extra XP, and just let them all go.
The only sad thing is, I got heaps.
The only sad thing is that you can't score the pet from them.
That's fair. I already got it. What's up here?
AFK?
What am I AFKing? Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
Abbey Demons.
Wait, there's urns that work for... I didn't realize.
Yeah, they did a huge urn update. Yeah, Infernal Urns.
Oh, okay.
They did a huge urn update. And then I didn't know they auto-teleported, so that's...
Yep.
You know, that's really cool, too.
If we can convince Mage to use urns, next we just gotta convince him to do a daily Abbey Demon task. And then he'll be...
I'll convince him to do more dungeoneering.
He can't be bothered taking that 17 seconds to go and get the task.
Well,
all right. I don't know if you remembered though.
Let me explain to you the problem that I have with getting the Abbey Demon task, and it actually has nothing to do with going and receiving the Abbey Demon task. It actually is the fact that I have an active Edimu task, and I have a thing that any Eddie task that I get, I have to do. That's why I have like 9,000 Eddie kills, and I'm not even 120 Slayer. So like don't want to skip this Eddie task. There's an internal struggle going on in my mind that's like, if you skip this Abbey Demon task, though this Eddie task, you failed. You failed yourself, and you failed everyone that you have told this to, which is now anyone who's listened to this. But that's my main reason, and it's just like, if I could just go do one Eddie task, I'd be fine. But
I understand that. I love my Eddie tasks.
What was that? Thank you for the sub, Mensky. Appreciate it, buddy. Anyway, yeah, I just have this mental barrier that I need to get past, and I'm just an idiot, I guess. I don't know what's wrong with me, but as soon as I'm done with my melee skills, I'm gonna go back to Slayer for a bit. I'm gonna try to get to 120. No promises. But
I'd already be halfway there.
It's true. I got what? I got 119 defense today. I got 119 HP 2 days ago. I'm almost 116, I think, attack, or maybe 117 in strength. I don't know. It's hard to tell when you're overloaded. But yeah, I'm closing in on 120 HP. I should be 120 HP in the next like 3 or 4 days. So that's cool, because then I can untick HP from my combat XP, and then I'll get more XP in the other skills. So there's like a snowball effect, you know? So it actually gets easier and easier, which is something you never get to say in life. So I'm glad that RuneScape is allowing me to be able to say that. Anyway, love you. Thank you very much. I love you too. I love hanging out in your chat. Mensky is an awesome dude. Awesome dude. That's LS3, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know. But awesome, awesome streamer now. He is also an affiliate, so you go check him out. Throw some bits at him. Maybe subscribe. But at the very least, give him a follow. Plays a lot of games. PUBG, Fortnite. You know, all the fun ones. All the good ones.
I thought I streamed my WWE 2K18 since I bought it the other day on Humble Bundle for about $20.
I would totally watch that. I'd watch DX play WWE. I've actually watched people play that game before, and it actually looks pretty good online. Like, the online actually works, so that's interesting. Do we got any PSAs? Anything to open up the show with? I don't have any PSAs in the document, so we'll blame DX for that.
Infinity's last day was yesterday.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I liked that post, and not in a like sense. Like, I'm just like, you know, good luck, man. I liked Mod Infinity a lot. So
guest of the show at one time.
Play Fusion.
Yeah, he was a guest on the show. That's very true. I hope he's not going to play Fusion. Pyrnassius, what have you been up to in RuneScape? I'll just go down the roster here and start.
I mean, a bit of everything. I've actually started live streaming. I've had a couple of nice little live streams. And thank you to Mensky, who hosted, and yourself as well. Just sort of getting out there, trying to do a bit of that. Mainly skilling, but trying to get back into PVM now that I'm starting to get better. For those who don't know, I've had bronchitis for a couple of weeks.
I thought you meant better at PVM.
No, I'm still crap at PVM. I'll always will be. But no, just I've been down just title hunting. I need 2 more items at Bandos. Then I just need the pet over at Armadillo. A couple more at. I've unlocked the Zamorak one. Then I've just got to go to Saradome and.
So you're title hunting and collecting.
Hunting, yeah, boss title collecting.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. DX, what have you been up to in RuneScape? What have you been doing?
I'm still telling up my clue scroll caskets and stuff like that. So when I get at least 100 of each, I'll do my own little live stream, similar to what Pern did.
Copycat.
And we'll see how I go.
Cool.
Yeah, copycat. Yeah, definitely. But I've been doing stuff apart from RuneScape of late too. So.
Yeah, you can talk about that too. Feel free to talk about what's been going on IRL.
Yeah, I've started being on air radio presenter at local community radio. So got a little show there going at the moment. It's Tuesdays between 7 and 10, where I'm going to be playing forgotten hits, you know, songs that you haven't heard from in a long time or have not heard from at all. And some of those songs have been buried in a vault somewhere, which I'm going to try and bring to the surface with a little bit of trivia about specific songs as well.
You are good with trivia. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
I'm loving it. I'm like a kid in a candy store, man.
I would be too. That is my dream hobby.
You wanted me to take a photo next time I'm down there.
Yeah, I love like seeing that type of stuff. Like I drool over radio hardware and just any type of recording stuff. I'm a nerd, man. AV equipment. I wish my school had an AV club. They didn't, unfortunately. Anyway, yeah.
I'm using my playlist this Tuesday night, so this is going to be great.
That's pretty sweet. And Hana, what's been going on? It's good to see you back in RuneScape. All right, I guess she quit RuneScape again.
We're just playing we're just humming the I Dream of Genie thing there, mate.
I see what I did wrong. I muted myself instead of unmuting myself.
It's all right. It's better than the time I stopped recording when I thought when I wanted to record and realized I was recording the entire time.
Yeah, no, I've been playing a decent amount over the past week. I think I'm kind of getting back into it. I've been killing Vindicta a lot. I need to do something else, but it's also hard because I have my RSI issues, so like kind of want to go to Rax, but I also know that it's way more intense and will probably make me hate my life with my hands.
I need to go to Rax. I have been slacking. I've had multiple duo Rax offers from
free right now,
very
solo.
Very generous. Yeah. Yeah, path 3 is the easiest path, right? The light path.
Yeah, but also 2-3 is the easiest, farm in general. Like,
yeah, 2-3.
The only real hard thing is worried about the insta-kill spiders.
Sure.
Which will definitely get you, but way less often.
Can you guys hear me typing away on my keyboard?
Thank you very much for the 500 bits, Mensky. That activated football emotes, too. Is Twitch doing a football thing? I'm not sure about that.
The World Cup.
Oh, that type of football. Cool. Gotcha. I forgot about the World Cup. That is happening, isn't it? My stepfather's very excited about it. I don't know much about the sports ball.
I think Australia got whomped by France tonight, I think.
Huh. Yeah, I had...
Watching a game for an hour and a half where you have a 0-0 draw, any wonder they have riots at their games all the time.
I don't know. European football is it's very slow. I mean, I don't know. I've tried watching it before. Not that we don't have slow sports. Baseball is very slow. I don't know. Hockey.
These things happen though.
I think hockey is one of the only sports that like I can sit down and watch, and it's like. I'm entertained by it.
Hot take, hockey's the only sport worth watching.
I won't say that just I don't want to piss people off, but it's the only sport that I've watched, and I don't like sports very much. And I've been to pretty much every type of sport game, and it's the only one that has caught my attention.
I mean, on a more serious note, I mean, football or sports. What sport you like is very much based on who you enjoyed spending time with watching it. I think that's somewhat part of it for some people, at least.
Sure.
So I mean, part of why I enjoy hockey so much is because of.
I mean,
take it easy, Mensky. Come back when you can.
Take care. Take care. Thank you very much for all of the support right there. Really do appreciate that. Yeah. What was I saying? I totally forgot what I was saying. But no, that's cool. I appreciate that. It's hard for me. I've got this insane my setup is larger than my peripheral vision at this point, and I can't see Twitch chat very well. So anytime you see something before I do, call it out, because I literally have to crane my head all the way to the right to see Twitch chat, and I'm looking all the way to the left to make sure I'm not dying. And then if I'm reading an article, I got to look at the center. Anyway, I need 2 more heads basically. But yeah. Let's get into the show, I suppose, and I'll stop talking about sports because this is RuneScape Weekly, not Sports Ball Weekly. So,
not Sports Center.
Yes, exactly. No one would want me as a shoutcaster for any sort of sports game because I'd just be like, he's got the ball. He's running with the ball. He's still got it. I think he's throwing it to somebody else now. Oh, goodness. That would be it just would not be good. Anyway, all right, so let's get into the update of the week here. Hall of Memories. So it was a divination update, and I'm all for divination updates. Like, divination is one of my favorite skills. It's up there with fishing. So I was very excited to hear that divination was going to get some love this week. So let's read about it. At the pool of water at Guthix Memorial lies Guthix's personal cache, requiring 70 divination to enter. This is the home to the darkest secrets and forbidden knowledge, and the chamber is home to the archivist, an automaton who collects and organizes, preserves, and maintains control over Guthix's memories. One slight problem. The archivist thinks you're an automaton and needs your help to complete the recovery process of the memory storage bot. Harvest from the appropriate energy to recover from them and unlock passive effects to enhance your divination skills all over Gielinor. Inside the chamber, there are jars that can be used to store energy you gather. Once full, they can be deposited into the unstable rift for chunks of experience. This update comes with one completionist and master quest cape requirement. The completionist requirement is based on recovering all the core memory data. Should you finish the recovery of a memory, storage bot will give you a permanent boost to your divination skill. Those are from Aggie. You get extra passive effect from the Memorial to Guthix, Fountain of Energy, so you can select another one up there. Saren will increase the memory strand gain while in the Hall of Memories, so speeds up those memory strand gains, which is basically just extra experience. Juna is able to create 3 divine locations per day. The Sword of Edicts will give increased memory gain when harvesting from faded memories. And once you've done Crest, increased energy gain when converting memories. And that's just all throughout the world, I would assume. So that's a pretty good reward right there. Just an increased energy gain, to me, is basically increased GP gain, is what I'm reading there.
Yeah, that's the awesome one. The Juna one, able to create 3 divine locations, that's all well and good, but the thing is, you only have a limited amount you can get. So, if you do the Runite, you can only collect from one Runite divination location anyway. Hunter, you can do sort of 1 3/4. So I don't know how useful that one is.
Here's Pern over here, only thinking about himself, not thinking about his clanmates who you might want to drop a few for. Good, yeah, DX.
Just remember, you can always extend that with Viswax, can't you?
You can, yes.
These are also supposed to be, some of them are supposed to be it's a mid-level thing.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it's best XP in the game as well, but it's supposed to start at mid-level, so, like, being able to make 3 divine locations when divine locations are less, because it takes a lot more of the lower level ones to actually cap, from what I remember.
Does it? Okay.
Daily limit. So, like, sure, the rune ones you can't use many of, but I think, like, if you're using, like, Mithril or whatever, like, it takes a few of those from what I remember.
That's fair enough, then. I've never used the lower end ones, so that's fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, Hana touched briefly on this, but this is best XP in the game if you do it correctly. And that's awesome.
The Sudwood method.
Yeah, that is awesome, because that is going to pull people who don't like divination away from doing the energy method, hopefully, which should hopefully rise energy prices slightly. I'm not saying it's going to spike them, but it could possibly make them 100 GP more. You know, like we could see like a 2-3% rise, which is a big deal overall if you are an energy collector.
I hope it does, but the other side of it is that it might just make people get to 95 or whatever
faster
to get incandescent energy. And
that's also possible. Yeah,
more people up there. But yeah. I mean, I think it will draw like people who are going for 120 or 200 mil or whatever. I mean, those people are mostly doing the daily anyway. I think whatever that shit's called.
Guthix Cache.
Yeah, because I think that's still best XP in the game, from what I understand.
720k an hour, and if you do the new Hall of Memories on the world where sort of everyone is, where they're loading the core all the time, you can get up to 800k. So, and that way it's not only a 20-minute thing either. You can do the full hour.
Well, sure, but if you min-max Guthician caches, you do them in less than 5 minutes, and it's more than 720k an hour. Obviously, this is going to be more consistent. You're totally right, but I think if you are min-maxing, Guthician caches are still technically better.
Okay, that's good to know.
My understanding.
I'm pretty sure caches are still best XP in game. You still want to do your caches, definitely. Does anyone know? I mean, yes.
Somebody like me, like I don't like to do dailies, so like having a grind option is going to be much better because I like to grind something rather than spend 30 seconds a day on something.
This
How I
seems
am.
this seems like a good divination update. And I mean, I banged out the you know, the little memory bots in maybe like 40 minutes. Like it was a just quick little thing. I enjoyed it because I like divination. So the area is nice. They did a good job on the environment art. Like I'm just pleased with it overall.
Yeah, I was a little bit frustrated with the 2-tick mechanic when I first heard about it, because it just felt like lazy game design. But after like doing it a little bit, I can see why it actually works pretty well. I still kind of wish that they had like created a mechanic like with what they did for safe cracking. Something like that to me still would have been kind of better. But
can you explain the 2-tick method, because I have not used it?
basically, every time you get an XP drop in while training down there, you just click as the XP drop happens, and it will basically double the amount of XP that you get. It'll speed up your process by a ton.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that doesn't sound like it was intended.
Oh, it was. They've said it was intended.
Oh, it was intended. All right.
Yep.
So they're just like abusing their own game like mechanics at this point. They're turning exploits into features.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what it felt like to me until I saw it, and it doesn't look like what, like when you see someone using 4-tick auto attacking and how broken that looks. It doesn't look like that. So it actually feels like more of a feature than what I thought it would.
Okay.
Like it's not like you have to count ticks or anything. It's just, I think calling it 2-ticking almost like to people who hate the idea of tick manipulation, it kind of turns us off to the whole concept of it.
Yeah, big time.
But when you do it and see how it's done, it's not outrageous.
Gotcha. Okay. In other news, congratulations to what was it, Bruce Willis, of course, famous actor and RuneScape player who has now an NPC named after him in game. Obviously, this is probably not the real Bruce Willis. If I had to take a wild guess, there was a lore competition, and their lore book was added to the game as well as a character named Bruce. And in second place was Froggy 1223, and their lore book was added to the Edgeville Furnace.
Bruce Willis is kind of the perfect age to be a RuneScape.
He might be, yeah. I mean, he very well might be, but I don't know.
And for any Master Quest capers out there, those two are required for your Master Quest cape. Talk to Bruce and just get the book.
You know, it very well might be that it is the real Bruce Willis, and the lore book isn't even that good. He just put like, "Yo, I'm actually Bruce Willis," and he included some proof, and they were just like, "Well, we have to put this in game now because Bruce Willis plays RuneScape."
Wouldn't it be great if the NPC would be known as Die Herd?
That would be good. So Vic the Trader, of course, is back. Just a reminder, if you haven't, if you've been living under a rock, Vic the Trader.
2 weeks. He's actually active for 2 weeks and then there for another week afterwards, which is he's normally on for a week and then you can trade for another week after, or get your rewards for another week afterwards. You can actually hand in your bonus XP
the whole time.
2 weeks this time, and then he's there for a third week too.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think Monday's the last day though, right?
Yes, Monday is the last day.
So has anyone cashed in for anything in particular?
I finished off a trapper suit, just one of them.
Gotcha.
So, and then I'll just get the others as we go through.
I've never felt like Vic was really worth it to me, being pre-max, so I haven't really used it.
That's fair. That's fair. I got 3 words.
Yeah.
Rare item tokens.
He's not. He's not worth it for if you're not maxed. It's not worth trading in your XP for. In all honesty,
I traded in like 5 million Herblore XP because I was like, you know what, I don't care. And I want rare items, so I did that. But then there weren't any. No, I got for anyone who doesn't know, I got 2 rare items, and I got the 2 rare items I wanted. I got really lucky with RNG for once in my life. I got the lucky coin and the hype train, which were 2 things I really wanted.
I got the balloon resting ones.
That's awesome. Sick. Yeah, that is really cool.
Mage, you have Golden God swords, right?
I do have. I have a Golden God sword. Yes.
Okay, they're getting a graphical overhaul on Monday.
Oh,
it's
cool.
Better apparently.
They're making them look gold instead of brass now.
Nice. Yeah, any improvements to the golden stuff would be nice because I've always thought it looked kind of brass.
Yeah, they gave it they're gonna give it a spit shine.
Good. Polish it up.
My golden Saradomin God sword is my
That's the one I want.
Melee override. So
yeah. I can't complain about having one, but like that's the one I want for sure. Is the Saradomin? I think the Saradomin one. The Armadillo one also looks really pretty because it's got like that feathered blade that looks really cool in gold. So
I
that's
feel like they.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. I like the look of all of them, but obviously, some are more iconic.
I have the Bandos one, which I just feel like is the least prestigious.
Really, I love the way that thing looks.
Okay.
I mean, it is probably the least prestigious, but personally, I like the way.
I'll tell you what, the golden Bandos War Priest looks badass. That I love. That I have. That I was very excited for.
001 on Twitch.
Hey, what's going on?
Everyone is really excited about Vic being back, and I'm just excited about Ottomans because it let me get the Sword of Radlin, and that's the last weapon I was missing from the 3-weapon collection JX has released so far.
Yeah.
The Radlin sword wasn't that from the Falador event? Wasn't
that was from the Falador event.
Yeah, it was one of the community events from like 2014 or 15.
And I missed everything like the last 4 days of the Falador event, but oh my god, that event was ridiculous. Always do the JX events the first year they happen because it's always OP as fuck, and then the next one is like slightly worse. Like the Port Sam event was great, but it was not broken like the Falador event was.
Yeah, the Falador event was some crazy XP. Anyway, moving on to Summer Pinata.
Just before we go, I just want to just in the patch notes, there was one really good one there for people with the Mask of Eret. It used to only take you out to the Eret Bay out there. North of Guthix's Memorial. It will now take you to Curadel's dungeon. So that was a fix that they did this week.
Nice.
Literally just won that off Treasure Hunter like 10 minutes ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, well done. Well, there you go. Well, you would never have known that you could never go there. I hated that mask because you would never be able to go to Curadel's dungeon, which is obviously the best place because take a potion and then they just all attack you at once. Whereas up on the peninsula, it's just so hard to get them all attacking you.
Yeah, I think most people go Mascab, like that, or at least that was the big place for it, I believe. Before
again, they're all spread out there though too. So yes,
yeah, I think the method was to like cannon them, and then that fix helped with that. But yeah, they are a bit spread out there.
Cool. Anything else anyone wants to cover, or can I move on to the Pinatas?
We can move on to the next one.
All right, so I put this in here not to promote them or anything.
To have a rant.
Wink, wink.
I never put Treasure Hunter promotionals on the docket unless I want to complain about them. So I'm not going to read this article, really, but I do want to mention that this takes place from, 0-100 hours game time on the 14th and ends on the 18th. That is not a very long period of time. That is 14, 15, 60, that's 4 days. 4 days. You have 4 days to get this outfit. And as a multi-billionaire, I would pay a lot for this outfit. However, I can't. Well, I guess I can, but I have to gamble for it. And that really pisses me off because I don't know how much money I have to spend on it. I just want to buy the outfit. And I don't know how, I just like, hey, it's 4,000 rune coins. Okay, I know how much I have to spend. At the very least, I know what I'm spending. It pisses me off to no end that I don't know if I'm going to get this outfit for 1 bond or 10 bonds. Like, just tell me, like, I just want an upfront cost. I don't want to know that, like, I'm going to sink 20 bonds into this and accidentally not get the outfit because I wasted all my RNG on the lucky coin. Like, that's what concerns me. This is the wrong path to go down. But at the same time, I can't complain as much as I want to complain because it's just cosmetic. And it's not affecting the game in any way.
But then again, everybody wants to be Silver Surfer, which is what this outfit reminds me of.
It does look like Silver Surfer.
The one thing I do want to say about this one, though, is it's giving a token. So if you spin on Treasure Hunter, it's actually a token. Tokens should be able to be traded on the GE. If you're just unlocking the cosmetic outfit in your thing, that's fine. But if you've given a token, I think it should be tradable on the GE for players.
I agree. I mean, why make it a token if you can't trade it? Why not just make it
that's what I don't understand.
An override.
Why make it a token? Because you can't sell it. So, yeah, just unlock an override.
Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed. But, I mean, I like it a lot, and I'm probably still going to buy a bunch of bonds to get it. And the only reason why I'm going to do that is because
Max dungeoneering.
It's not stat affecting. It's not like I have to worry about boosts or anything like that. Like, I'm not gonna feed into another one of their like elite skilling outfit fiascos. But if it's just cosmetic, like, whatever. I don't know. I'm not buying it today. I'm not buying it tomorrow. I'm gonna wait until 0 hour and see how I feel about it, and maybe pull the trigger, maybe not. I don't know.
I'm definitely like super conflicted about it because it's funny because literally on last week's episode I was like, oh, we haven't seen one of those exclusive treasure hunter only events. It's mostly been XP events, which are less egregious and more healthy. And this is one of those like, it's not something that's going to be game affecting in its stats or anything, but it is unhealthy where it's manipulative to people who want to get the outfit because of how super RNG it is.
I just want the outfit because it looks cool. And like, I'm glad that it's not stat affecting, but like, why make me beg for it? Why make me get on my hands and knees and just like ass in the air beg for it? Why? Why? Just sell it to me like a normal company. Anyway, that's all I had to say about that. What are we going into? We're going into Group Ironman dev blog. Okay. So Mod Ramen posted the Group Ironman dev blog the other day, and this doesn't have really any interest to me. It blows my mind that this is a thing. Ironman means solo. Like, I don't know. I don't get it, but okay. I'm
I'm totally gonna make you play one with me.
I'm fine with that. I probably will try it, but maybe we'll make it into a series. It just doesn't make sense, but at the same time, hey, you know what? Plenty of things don't make sense. I'm not gonna complain about it. If it makes people happy, whatever, cool.
Yeah, I think more niche play styles are good, right? Like, make people make new accounts, restart, make them feel like playing the game more.
Get people back into the game, add some spice up. It just seems counterintuitive to its namesake, but that's okay. Namesakes are not the end all be all to what anything is or isn't. So I will read this article.
We've already had discussions about how Ironmen in general are kind of devalued as hell now anyways in RS3, so
Iron Man is become something very different than originally.
Iron Man is only play when the winter and summer events are happening, and then just AFK.
Anyway, let's see here. So this development blog has been a long time coming. It's time to start talking about the Group Ironman update, what it will involve, how it will play, and what we need to get right for its success and to feel fair. We recently put a poll to get a general feeling about several topics in relation to this update, so the first part of this dev blog I'll go over the results and break down my thoughts on them. From there we can start a discussion and ensure we're moving the correct direction. Before we jump straight into the poll questions, we need to address the ETA for Group Ironman. When we announced it at RuneFest, we said it was an active project that was being worked on, and with an ETA being within 6 months after RuneFest, as we're now in June, this clearly didn't hit the goalpost we wanted. Sadly, we've run into some roadblocks with engine work needed for this project to work. As it currently stands, we do not know how long it will take to work around or through this issue, but please understand, we're trying our best. I assume it has to do with the shared bank system. Like, that just sounds like they can't even get the bank rework out, and they want to do a shared banking system between accounts? Yeah, I can imagine there's some engine issues. So again, do you plan on playing Group Ironman when the new mode releases? 57% said no, 42% said yes. That's still a large chunk of individuals who want to play this. Pretty simple.
I'd like to know though, 3 months after it comes out, how many people are still playing it?
I would love to see those metrics. A pretty simple question that doesn't need much airtime. We asked this question to allow us to filter out results from players who plan to play the game mode and those who don't. What is your desired group size? So this is pretty skewed here. Probably one of the most important questions when it comes to this update was how many players should we let team up with? This isn't a simple task as there are pros and cons to each group size, and I'll elaborate here. 2 players keeps the group small, allowing a pair of friends to play as they see fit at their own speed. 3 players is one person is alone, 2 people are a relationship pair. When it comes to 3, there's a big leap in perception. Within the 3, there is a greater sense of cohesion and collective power. 4 players. Personally, when we reach 4 players, there is more of a chance that someone within the group will fall behind if they are unable to play as much as the other 3. And 5 players. 5 players is a good, clean group size, but it also makes it hard for players who struggle to find that many people for a group base. You know, those no-lifers with no friends is basically what they're trying to say here. Based on these results, your thoughts, as well as internal discussions, we realize it's not needed to set a single hard group size. You, the players, should have the freedom to group with however many players you see fit or desirable.
Thank goodness. The way they were wording that, I'm like, why wouldn't you just let us make up our own mind? Why would you be like, nope, gotta have 5 people?
Yeah, right?
Terrible.
I'm glad that they went in this direction. Friends who want to do it...
Back to that. I do want to go back to that poll for a sec, because if I remember correctly, this specific poll was only for people who had Ironman mode access, if I remember it right. And 57% have said no, and they're still going to plan on going ahead with it.
Yeah, because
so open to everyone,
that makes a lot of bloody sense, doesn't it?
Pern says it's open to everyone. Was that correct?
I was pretty sure it was open to everyone. That one.
I can't say.
There was something else that was an Iron Man only question for people who were Iron Man, but the group Iron Man question was an open question to everyone in game.
Okay. So either way, like, even though less than 50% of people said yes, the fact that such a large percentage still said yes, like still like 47, almost half, that's still a large portion of people who want the update, enough to develop it, I would say. Friends who want to do it together will have that option. They shouldn't be locked out of content due to minimum group size. Once a group has been created, they will be classified into their group size 2, 3, 4, or 5. Each group size will have their own chat badge. While still looking similar, it will be a way of differentiating their chosen group size. The Ironman armor set will also be available to Group Ironman, displaying the relevant icon based on group size. Regarding high scores, if the current engine job allows us to split them into, we could have high scores for each group size. So that's a big maybe. Should a group Ironman be able to group up with other Ironmen for bossing purposes? Again, the polls came out in a pretty skewed fashion here. It says one of the biggest topics when it comes to Group Ironman mode is how will the group bossing work? Will Group Ironman be able to group up with other Irons in order to gain gear? Poll option 1 gauged if players were okay with Group Ironman teaming up with Ironman or Hardcore Ironman. Going by the general reaction from various platforms such as the forums, Reddit, and Twitter, this is an absolute no. So, feelings on that? That's a big no, Ironman grouping up with other Ironmen.
No, I mean, you especially Ironman itself is for is a solo journey. So, I mean, you're making a group one. Well, okay, you want to play with just that group of friends, and now all of a sudden, oh no, but I want to go and fight this boss now. So I want to join up. So again, you're going against what the core idea of that Iron Man motto is. So I say downright no as well.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. If we did allow Group Ironman to team with Seasoned Ironman, this would allow them to boost quickly for better gear while skipping over a significant aspect of their chosen group, relying on members of your group for progression. Poll number 2 comes in at 36%. Whilst this seems like a reasonable option, it still runs into the issue of boosting down the line. Poll number 3 seems like the most ideal. However, adding a cap to group size could cause issues for bosses that require higher group sizes, such as raids, which is aimed at 10 players. As gear progression and resource gain from bosses is such a key part of RuneScape and account progression, this is the topic I like to generate the most discussion on. What should happen if a member of the group leaves? If a group has progressed their accounts as a team, but then one of the members decides, right, they've carried me this far and now I can make it on my own, and then decides to leave the group, they would expect to be just downgraded to a solo Ironman account. However, they would be wrong. This will not be happening. If a member of a Group Ironman group leaves the group, they will be downgraded to a normal account with no Ironman restrictions. Simple as that. The reason for this decision is so we could retain the effort the current Ironmen have put into their accounts as solo players. It would be very unfair for that to be devalued by a dodgy rule of Group Ironman. They will have traded. So, and I think that's very fair. Like that's exactly what I would have done. Because yeah, you don't want. I mean, regular solo Ironman has already been kind of watered down. That would water it down to a point where I don't even think they'd have much left. Any thoughts so far, or should I continue on?
Continue on for me.
All right. If a group member does leave, can we recruit a new one? If a member of your Ironman group leaves, then it seems appropriate to allow the group to recruit a new member. The best way to do this would be to allow groups to recruit only fresh group Ironman accounts from the recruitment room. Whilst this does have the argument of boosting, it does still follow the rules as other groups of the group have progressed with their original chosen group size. Yeah, it gets a little weird there. I don't know. I don't not like it. It seems like a fair compromise. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, if they're going to allow you to recruit people, they should allow you to recruit more people in general, in my opinion, right? Like, not just of your original group size. Like, if you make a 2-man Ironman group and then, like,
you want it to be
2 years down the road, you become best friends with a third person, you should be able to add them in if you're going to allow, adding of people. Even if an Ironman hasn't quit, like, allow group sizes to be adjusted.
Yeah, you can have 2 best friends.
And not sort of merging, like, 2... You can't sort of merge 2.
Come back to your microphone, Pern.
Yeah, you're very far away.
Sorry, is that better?
No.
No, it sounds like you're talking.
Did you switch to your webcam again? I swear.
Let me go and
I'll continue on here.
I think Pern was saying that as long as they don't let you combine 2 group Ironman groups together, which I totally agree with.
Yeah, no merging.
Fresh accounts only could be added to your group.
It did.
There you go.
Defaulted back to my other mic.
Oh my god!
Without me touching anything.
We gotta look into that for you. That's weird. Behind the scenes, nothing is simple. For this project, we've had to request some significant engine changes and support to actually allow this project to work. Currently, we've had engine jobs come back that make some changes to the back-end system of clans to allow us to create a second hidden clan, which we will use to track and keep group Ironman players grouped. The other job will allow us to select a lower maximum size of clan. This does mean we need to give players a way of chatting without you typing all million slashes or /GIM chat commands. With Ninja recently releasing some tweaks and quality of life changes to Friends chat system, it seems sensible to push players back towards that system. We will
Are they going to use that actual grouping system that's a real gem currently?
Oh god, no. That is, I mean, if they want to do a boss together, I guess they have to, right? That needs a complete overhaul as well, but that is a whole other can of worms. Will group banking be available for groups to use and share resources easier? And yeah, as of writing this, the answer is no, as the engine support required for this would push the ETA of the project well into 2019. So they're not even considering group banking, which I kind of called earlier on the show.
The initial thing they were saying about this was the whole group banking, rah. That was the big sell on group Ironman.
Yeah. Wasn't that the point?
Do it. Yep.
What is the point then? Push it back to 2019. I don't even want this anymore.
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, that's
stupid. That sounds really stupid to me.
Yeah,
the whole idea of group Ironman was sharing a bank so that you could all just do things like Mage can go out there and do his fishing.
I guess they're probably just gonna make shit tradable between each other, but still, like,
yeah,
does that really take? I mean, it's like wait till the bank rework's done to do this, guys. Like, there's no major demand for this. Just push it back until you can actually freaking do it.
The disappointment, just like I was walking through a field of daisies and I just got hit in the head with a football. Like, what the... right in the middle of the article.
You say that, but at the beginning of this article, you were like, I don't even have any interest in this. So
let's... but then you were like, I'm going to start one with you, Mage. And then, like, I started...
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel disappointed in that for sure. That sucks.
Will Group Ironmen be able to trade untradables between each other? The question has been around for quite a bit, understandably, too, as it's quite cool change in gameplay if we allowed untradables to be traded between members of a group. Technically, as it stands, this can't be done. Just fuck. Why bother? But that does not mean that we will not attempt to explore routes or methods of doing so. This is where you'll help. If there's a certain set of items you think we should be traded, let us know. Like you should be able to trade degraded items between your teammates. Like if you've degraded some Barrow's armor and your teammate's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go do something and I need combat armor," and you're like, "Yeah, and I want to fish." You should be able to trade off your damaged armor.
Augmented shit as well. That's the biggest one to me. Is anything that's augmented.
The augmented,
tradable.
Thank you very much for the follow, Scorchy. I appreciate that. Go ahead.
The degraded stuff is not a big issue because you can just go and repair that quickly on your armor stand and then trade it. But it's the augmented one that's going to cause the issue there.
Ah, yeah, the item IDs for the... I totally get the augmented versions, but non-augmented stuff, I think they need to figure out a way to do.
Just repair it and then trade it.
Well, that may not be possible if you don't have the money as a poor Iron Man. Go ahead, Hannah.
Funny, because you and I had the opposite take, where I'm like, augmented is essential for this mode to work at all. Like, especially at max level, like all your gear is going to be augmented. Like,
that's true.
No way to do combat. There are ways to do combat. There's no. It's a huge DPS loss to do combat without augmented shit. Like, it's ridiculous.
But 2 years ago, we had nothing augmented, and we were doing
but we also have how many
combat.
new bosses since then? Like, think of how many bosses we have post invention that are based around doing that much more damage. Telos, God Wars 2, Solak, like all that shit's built around the idea of invention.
It's true. And I mean, that was one of the issues at the beginning, was like, will Group Ironman be able to take on endgame bosses? I think that's a known problem. But yeah, it's definitely so. This whole mode just sounds like it's not ready to be made. Like, the engine is just not ready for it.
Yep. They should absolutely just delay this until, I mean, like, the bank rework, just make this a part of the bank rework, and like, you have to, it sounds like you have to basically rewrite the bank anyway. So if you rewrite it with the idea of being able to share gear, like, I know IDs are going to be hard to make shit tradable between people, but to me, there should be, obviously, I'm not a programmer, so maybe I am oversimplifying this, but like, oh, I want to share this augmented thing with you. Well, if I just put it in our shared bank, then you can grab it. Like, that seems to be something that would be easier to code than how do I make all this untradeable shit tradable? You know what I mean?
Definitely. I mean, it sounds like it should be just backlogged until they're capable of doing what they originally promised. Because I really think if people start seeing all this, they're not going to be able to share a bank. They're not going to be able to trade untradeable armors and such. People are going to cool right off on wanting Group Iron Man.
I'm very interested to read the comments on this.
This mode is very much sounding like a regular Iron Man, but you also have a group tag. Like, what's the difference of just playing with someone else who has an Iron Man account? I see no difference currently. Just
team up with other Iron Men now, so you can go and do your boss fighting and such.
Yeah.
So, onboarding. How will I make a group? To create an eligible account for the mode, you will need to create a new account and select Group Iron Man mode. Drop down on the character creation screen when you first log in. Upon creating your character with the drop down selected, you'll be sent to the Iron Man Guild. From here, you'll find yourself in the group creation room. You won't be able to leave this room until you have got your group ready and are ready to venture into the wider world. From here, you'll have the option of being thrown straight into the world or go through the tutorial. Though if you're playing Group Iron Man, I expect you've done the tutorial before. So there's a new Iron Man Guild. That's something new to the game. So again, the Iron Man Guild will be moving Mr. X and the Iron Man high scores to a themed location.
Whoa. We'll be moving Mr. X. Mr. X is not an exclusive Iron Man character. He skulls people for when you want to run out into when you want to go out to the bandit camp and such. He's the one who skulls you so if they're going to be moving him...
Oh, I'm sure people will complain about that, and they'll add some sort of duplicate in Edgeville.
The way he says it, though, we'll be moving, not we'll be duplicating, or we'll be making a new character. But Mr. X is used for a lot of other things other than just Iron Man.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, anyway. Yeah,
so a central place for all things Iron Man related. We do not currently have a location in mind, so if you have any ideas for where you'd like the Iron Man Guild to end up, any ideas for what you have you'd like to see, please let us know. Stick it right on the top of Trollheim, because this whole project is a troll.
Just send it to Ashdale. That's useless now.
Yeah, right. Just raise Ashdale, blow it, drop a nuke on it, and then just put a... Oh, you know what we need? We need Beneath Cursed Tides too, just so we can sink Ashdale.
Asgaroth just goes nuts and just digs out all the
and then we do Beneath Cursed Tides 3, where we actually get a bunch of gnome copters and raise the original tutorial island back out of the ocean so it can be used again.
I want those gnome copters back big time. I love those.
Gnome copters are pretty great. So again, there's a post here from 113 points upvoted by a by someone named 15-year player, like the name, and it's quoting, "We'll be moving Mr. X," and he says, "Please do not move him. Copy and paste him." Yeah. So he will give the player Wildstalker helmets he can use to be sculled. Like Call It, and Mr. X will return a Lost Wilderness Sword 4 for 10,000, 100,000 coins. He is the Wilderness Task Manager. Like, it's so many reasons to not move him. Yeah. Yeah, I told you some people would complain, and then it would yeah.
Yeah, and there it is, the #1 complaint.
Yeah, it is the #1 complaint. So I think
that's the first thing I thought of. As soon as I heard that, I thought, hang on a sec, no.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so Group Ironman, I would say it is a work in progress, and it needs a lot more work. Yeah, it needs a lot more work. That's a good way of saying it. You know, I noticed what we didn't put on the docket today, which we'll have to just talk about, I think, maybe on like a Patreon show, like a 1-to-1 special, and that's the mining and smithing rework. I did not put it on this docket. It needs its own show, because I had a lot to say about that. So we're going to do a separate episode on that, maybe tomorrow. Because I should have some time tomorrow as well,
and try and get the RR man in for that.
Yeah, I want to give the RR man a chance to get on the show.
Because I know he was really excited about it and looking forward to it as well.
I feel like an asshole now. Blame my grandmother, freaking old demented coot.
No, that's.
I love her though.
No, I think looking forward.
Real life happens, unfortunately.
I wish it would stop. Go ahead, Hannah.
Yeah, I know.
Do you mean our man was looking forward to the Mayan smithing rework, or
the show? I think.
He was the original mining and smithing rework. He was looking forward to, because he had a lot of thoughts. We were talking about it a while ago.
Oh well, then good that we're saving it then. Good thing. All right, let's see here. So this article, we're starting to get in. Oh wait, Hannah, isn't it time for your open discussion?
Hannah's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time for Hannah rages for a bit.
Go for it. It's time for me to vape for a bit.
I've actually decided to add a mini topic to the beginning of this rage, because I just checked the polls, and I find it interesting. So right now they're re-polling Little Tuzzy because people didn't like the requirements, and allowing Little Tuzzy to be obtainable without raid lockout is only winning by 1%. So if this poll passes, are they going to re-poll it a third time? Because last time when it lost by 1%, people raged. I'm sure people will be equally as angry that it won by 1%, right?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
I'm being facetious because I totally doubt people will be. But...
I mean, I just dropped my mouse. This is what happens when I vape on the show.
Mage rage.
But it's really, I'm still frustrated at the fact that they re-polled this, but
that's
also the
poll
fact
shenanigans. That's like election fraud right there.
The fact that it's still this close, even with those requirements, like, I don't know, it's silly.
I mean, these days polls don't really matter anyway. As you just whatever happens is going to happen. Polls are just a kind suggestion, apparently, as to what people want.
That's what they should be, but they don't pitch them as that.
Well, okay.
Like, I would be happy if that's what they were. It's honestly what I think polls should be, but Jagex gives polls way too much weight, honestly, in both RuneScape 3 and Old School, which is what we're about to talk about magically. The other thing I really I feel like needs to be called out is that there is no Pride event this year in Old School RuneScape. I think probably all of our members remember the disgusting homophobia that went on the Old School Reddit subreddit last year. We talked about it.
Yeah,
it was freaking gross.
I'm a veteran of 12 years, man. I was disgusted by the way that they were going at the homophobic slurs and all that sort of stuff. I was disgusted, and I've been playing this game for 12 years.
Yeah, it was.
Any normal person was disgusted by it.
It was extremely over the top. And I was honestly really, really, really hopeful that Jagex would come this year and make a statement by making an even bigger Pride event and making one in both games. And instead, we got nothing from them. And I tried tweeting the JMod that originally made that Pride event, asking where it was. I didn't get a response, and obviously we don't know for sure, but this feels a lot like corporate cowardice to me. Last year they were super brave about the fact they were having that event in game, but we know that most holiday events repeat, especially simple ones like the Pride event. was a real simple holiday event. It's surprising that it wouldn't come back, especially Old School. Old School has a history of just repeating their holiday events a lot of times, and it just is so damn frustrating that they could have sent a real clear message to those assholes, and they decided to do nothing.
Yeah, it's a real shame.
But you've also got to think that they're also working on, say, major events. I mean, not just the Pride thing. They're also working on mobile, which is probably going to take up whoever's left over is currently not working on anything.
I don't think there's any excuse. I think last year showed that there is honestly, like, the history of Pride, the whole reason Pride exists is because of shit like what happened. I mean, Pride started as a riot because queer people did not have their rights, and like
it's become a celebration, but it used to be.
Yeah.
And it's and now it's a celebration of queer people where they are actually able to be visible, because there is a certain group that find us disgusting, for lack of a better word, and like that's kind of why I think RuneScape making a stand was extremely important of them, because they could have said no, like, we're not gonna let your reactions dictate like our thoughts, and it just feels like corporate cowardice to not do something.
I think they just forgot about it this year.
I highly doubt that.
Be back for next year for sure. I don't think
they would have forgotten about it. Personally, I mean, my own personal opinion is, a game is not the type of platform to do that type of thing on. However, after last year, what did happen, I think it is that the Jagex did have a duty to its community to stand up and say, well, hey, after what you people or what a certain group of the community did last year, we are going to stick by and put it back in there and stop this, stop this phobia that is out there. Personally, as I said, I
agree.
I sort of don't agree a gaming platform as a whole to be used for that type of thing. But once it was done, and once what happened last year, and we saw just I mean, it really disgusted me what some of the things were out there, and Hana posted some of the some of the Reddit posts out there, and it made me sick to think there's people like that in the world. I think Jagex had a duty of care this year to stand up and say, well, hey, we are going to keep supporting this now. We've done it once. With what happened, we want equality out there. We want to make sure that we are a force of stamping this type of stuff out, and we want to be inclusive. So I really do think they did have a duty of care this year to stand up and do that.
Not doing one after the backlash that they got is basically saying that that the people who were giving their backlash, they were right, that they
won.
Yep.
You let them win is how I.
We should try and bring it up next time they do an RS.
It's like, how is it different when players react to something backlash that Jagex changes in the game and it gets changed? That's bending to player opinion. You shouldn't bend to an opinion of hate. That's not okay.
Exactly. We took Easter out this year, and everyone jumped up and down. So they apologised for that, and they're going to bring it back next year and such. Well, I'm sorry, just because there was a small core group of the community who are homophobe bigots and don't deserve to breathe the air on this earth, that we're going to be listening to them. And you turn you made that decision last year to do it. Whether that decision last year was right or wrong, it's no matter now. You created a platform of hate for a certain group of people, and by standing down this year and not doing it again, you've let those people win. You
give the perception to those people that they were quote unquote
that they right. Yeah,
exactly.
More important, it justifies their actions.
And I highly doubt that. Like, I think there are some JMods that probably forgot about this, but I know there are queer people who work within Jagex. One of them made this event. I highly doubt those people forgot about the fact of what happened last year. And
there must have been an internal dialogue.
I don't know for sure why I wasn't contacted back, but I imagine this is an extremely touchy subject for the amount of harassment that JMod who made that event specifically.
I know.
I'm not going to name them because I don't want to put more hate on them, but it was just gross, and Jagex really had to say something and to yeah, we covered it pretty well. I guess.
There's no point in fighting hate with hate, right? But at the same time, like, when you face resistance, you should stand strong, not back down.
And not standing strong
when it's
sends a very clear message.
Yes.
Especially when it's something you're standing against something that is so patently wrong, and it just should not be in this day and age.
And I mean, there's also there's a history of corporations doing stuff like this. Honestly, basically corporations only talk about queer people when it's good for them. Like, there's a big history of this, or even like corporate sponsors of like Pride events specifically. Like, they do it when it's a good marketing opportunity, but the second it becomes bad publicity for them, they cower out. So that's part of why I judge Jagex so harshly here. Sure, you can make some arguments that maybe I don't think they forgot is valid, but that all those arguments kind of fall apart when you look at the history of how corporations use Pride events to basically as a free publicity stunt, and it looks bad. I mean, maybe you don't actually back it up.
I mean, is that mod still there? The one who did it? Okay, then
and works on the old school team.
Maybe he wasn't there. Maybe he, they had other updates and such that they couldn't slot it in. But
he might be ninja.
I mean, like, I would have, like, if I think they should have made even bigger and more prominent events in both games, but at the very minimum, they should have put the same event back in. At the very minimum.
Same event, yeah. Where it was just a nice little cosmetic reward. It wasn't forced on anyone. You do it if you wanted to do it. You didn't if you didn't want to do it. There was no, it wasn't just a nice little cosmetic reward they had. I thought the way they did it last year was done very well.
If it was me, if I ran Jagex, it would look like the 2015 celebration, but it would be queer flags everywhere. Not gonna lie, that would be the 15-year celebration of the game or whatever. Was that 2016? But that's what I would have done. Obviously, it's because I have a very close connection with this. But yeah, doing nothing just feels wrong. Really wrong.
I would definitely agree with that at the very least, and I think a lot of people would probably agree with that at the very least, that not doing anything is wrong.
Yeah, I would have loved a huge celebration. I would have been happy with just what happened last year happening again. And I hope if any JMods listen to this, you send this to your bosses. Obviously, I doubt your bosses will listen, but it matters.
I can't imagine that there wasn't a meeting where this topic was discussed.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure emotions were probably fairly tense.
Absolutely. And I that's why I think this decision comes down to a perceived protection of the value of the company.
Yeah.
And like, you don't get to just say, hey, queer people are valid when it looks good for you. Like, you have to say that even when it doesn't, even when your players are gonna get pissed off about it. Like, that's when it's most important. Saying, hey, queer people are cool around a bunch of queer people, that's the easiest time to do it.
Yeah.
Saying it when you're being stared in the face by bigots, that's when it actually matters to make a statement.
Agreed. So, shall we, anything else you want to close with, or are we good?
Nope, that's pretty much it.
All right.
Man up, Jagex.
So, next up, we have an article from PCGamer.com. I'm sure everyone's familiar with this story by now, but man jailed 6 years for threats made in RuneScape, finally released. And people watch A Friend, I'm told. So if you watch A Friend, you've probably already heard about this. But in case you haven't, here we go. So his name is Josh Piliot. I'm not 100% sure if I'm saying that correctly. Pilot? I don't know. Anyway. On October 4th, 2012, the then 19-year-old Josh got into an argument on RuneScape. Another player called Josh insane and told him to commit suicide. The argument only escalated from there, and at some point in his response, Josh said that he would level local Mississippi high school Oxford High. Pillett also alluded to Columbine's shooting and said he could not wait to blow brains out of skulls. 4 days later, on October 8th, 2012, the FBI arrested Pillett in his home in Mississippi, according to his case file. He was charged with knowingly and willingly communicating a threat by means of the internet, an instrument of interstate and foreign commerce concerning an attempt to kill and injure individuals and unlawfully damage and destroy buildings by means of fire and explosives. Note, Pilot's case file says he was arrested on October 14th. This is an error. Blah, 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 blah. In the trial that followed, in which Pilot eventually pled guilty, he was sentenced to 6 years in prison, which, as his case file says, is 48 months longer than the advisory guideline range, normally used when sentencing youth of Pilot's age. In the years that followed, Pilot visited nearly a dozen prisons and transfer facilities. Most of these visits were brief, strictly for evaluations or transfers, but he stayed in 3 different prisons for extended stays. One in Butner, North Carolina, one in Talladega, Alabama, and one in Marianna, Florida. Pilot was only released from prison when a subsequent period of house arrest. Earlier this week, he has released a video about his experience in prison and his side of the trial. I spoke to Pilot via Discord to hear more about his story. Quote, I decided to take my case to trial based on actual innocence, Pilot tells me, but I was informed by my court-appointed attorney. There's your problem right here. This is the reason why this kid spent 6 years in prison. Court-appointed attorney. That law, at the time, merely stated that if words are spoken, it is a crime. So I waited in jail about 9 months before I actually pled guilty, because I was very determined, but decided the odds of conviction were too high. Pilot does not deny that he made those threats, as he said in this video. Quote, I trolled him, went as hard as I could to get a reaction out of him, and I accidentally made the government very, very upset. However, it was just a bad joke to him. Pilot maintains... And that's the problem.
Therein lies the major fucking problem with the internet.
Yeah.
Like, words mean something.
Yeah.
And there are certain places on the internet that have decided that they don't, but they do. And if you think, like, threats like this shouldn't be taken seriously, go look up the case from last year where 2 guys who were playing Call of Duty got in a fight. And the one dude said, I'm going to come kill you, and the guy gave him his address. Wow. And it was a fake address, and then he went and shot the guy who was at that address.
Oh jeez.
Like, this shit actually means something.
Yeah.
Trolling, threats of violence are not trolling. They're
threats
of violence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the kids these days don't know the difference anyway, because they're not taught.
That's the parents' fault.
No, they're taught. They're taught.
I don't know what's going on, DX. I don't know what's going on in your household. What? Say that again.
Go ahead, DX.
Yeah. What?
You just heard the story of a guy just getting shot.
Yes.
And by a kid, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just always happened. We live in a time where the fewest people die in terrible ways. To be honest, like, if you look at statistically, we are in one of the times have only gotten better.
I also live in the U.S. where someone's shot like every day. So
I don't say that to lessen the actions, but I think there is a like overcompensation culture where it's like, look at how bad things are today, and things are better than they have ever been. That doesn't mean that they're good, but it means that they're better than what they used to be, and it is. But my whole point is that there is just a pervasive part of the internet that thinks that words don't mean anything, and that's the problem. I don't even think it's with parents. I think it's with internet communities that think that words don't mean shit.
Perhaps there needs to be more education, but I feel like you should know that what you say is like, it's yours. You should own. You got to own it. Yeah, you got to own it. It came from your keyboard, which is essentially your digital mouth.
Well, therein lies the problem, right? We spent like all of our childhoods, mate. We were told, "Oh, the internet's separate from real life." And if you ask me, that's part of the problem. Is that people view the internet as a separate. Like, no, the internet is a part of life. It's not separate.
Yeah. You're told constantly. Well, we were told constantly as kids that the internet's not real. It's a cyber world. It's fake. So I mean, I get where you're coming from there, but at the same time, like, when you're dealing with other live people, yeah, I get it. But like, here, like, I'll take an example as a kid. And I'm talking ages like maybe like 10, 11. And you're just in a chat room online, and I'm talking about myself when I say you're, but just whatever. Point being, yeah, you talk to people online, and a lot of the times, you don't know these people; they're complete strangers, and you just make shit up. You're just making crap up just to, try and interest them and see if you can just like stuff like that. I used to do all the time as a kid, just totally make up wild stories to people that weren't real just to get reactions out of them, but not necessarily negative reactions, just to have weird conversations, just to see what people would say. But there's a huge difference between that and making threats, and people need to understand that, you can't make a threat and think that it's going to be completely unsubstantiated just because you're sitting behind a keyboard. Like, that's not the case. There's a big difference, depending on, what you're saying. And I don't know why people don't make that connection, because I don't know. There's just some weird disconnect. When you sit behind a computer, people just don't feel like they are dealing with humans anymore. I think it's very similar with a phone too, right? Like, people are much more likely to yell at people when you're talking over the phone than face to face, right?
But I still think it's cultural. Like, I still think that the culture of how we let the internet come up has something to do.
Oh yeah, this is definitely not a singular issue that causes this problem, right? It's an amalgamation of different problems.
When you make, like I said, when you make people think oh, the internet's separate, what you say there doesn't have that much of a meaning or whatever, that has an effect. And I think this is one of those effects where people now think I can just be shitty on the internet because it's not real.
Yeah.
I think that's a knockoff effect of telling people the internet wasn't real. And because there's a lot of studies that go into showing that the internet actually doesn't make people that much worse. Really, what it's done is it's allowed terrible people just to group up easier. So you'll see pockets of it, and it's made those pockets more visible. But there's always been shitty people regardless.
Yep. Continuing on here, Pilot maintains that he never had any intention to act on the threats. Quote, I do not and have never had any intention of killing a human being, he said. Pilot's case had been compared to that of Justin Carter, a 19-year-old Texan who was charged with making a terrorist threat after he had told a Facebook friend that he was going to shoot up a school full of kids and eat their still-beating hearts. Carter was imprisoned, which sparked an uproar in juvenile justice spanning multiple years and petitions. In comparison, Pilot's case, the circumstances of which bear a remarkable resemblance to Carter's, was relatively quiet. If you're ever used to the internet, you're familiar with this kind of behavior. The access and anonymity that the online communication provides makes it much easier for people, especially young people, to get angry and make regrettable statements. Online culture, particularly where it intersects with video games, has a history of, putting it mildly, regrettable statements. Game developers are routinely barraged by death threats, sexual harassment, and other vile messages. You don't have to look very hard. The makers of No Man's Sky, Mass Effect Andromeda, Minecraft, and Call of Duty, and countless other games have received death threats following unpopular changes and decisions.
We're literally just talking about that last topic.
Yep. Unfortunately, this kind of thing happens all the time. However, Pilot's case stands out because of the evidence that led to his inordinately severe sentence. The FBI examined Pilot's computer and according to the FBI case file, found numerous documents pertaining to the creation of bombs and other explosive devices. The file says his computer also has his folders containing pictures and information about the Columbine shooting and several serial killers. Additionally, the FBI said his YouTube history showed that Pilot had searched for a game called Super Columbine Massacre RPG, as well as instructions on how to make a sawed-off shotgun, and information about Molotov cocktails. He sounds like a real super guy, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, that's
a troll, though,
Just a troll, though.
When you read all this extra stuff, it's you deserve your 6 years in jail, prick.
Right. Super Columbine Massacre RPG was released in April 2005. What? Developing using RPG Maker, the 16-bit turn-based RPG recreates the titular shooting you play as gunman Eric Harris and Dxthelb. I don't know if I said that right. And battle enemies like Preppy Girl and Jock Type using guns and explosives. Its retro visuals are peppered with digitized photographs taken from coverage of the shooting, including images of Harris and Dxthelb. Super Columbine Massacre RPG was widely criticized upon release, with many arguing that it exploits and trivializes tragedies like Columbine. Yeah, no shit. Similar games have run into the same criticisms in years. Hatred, an isometric action game about mass murder, was pulled from Steam Greenlight in 2014, but later reinstated following a personal apology from Gabe Newell. Most recently, Active Shooter, a tactical FPS about school shootings, as well as everything else from its developer and publisher, respectively, Revived Games and Acid, was removed from Steam. Pilot tells me that the other evidence mainly came from a text file he downloaded called Jolly Roger's Cookbook, a manifesto similar to the Anarchist Cookbook, which is actually why I was going to bring that up. I'm like, idiot, probably downloaded the Anarchist Cookbook, which every edgy 18-year-old had. At least, I mean, I had the Anarchist Cookbook when I was a teenager. I didn't do anything with it. It was just something like, hey, look at this. I'm an edgy teen. Anyway, Pilot says he was never interested in bomb-making techniques, but then why just search it on YouTube? But was instead after information like how to game vending machines or hack phones. Again, he sounds like a lovely individual. A quick look at the table of contents of Jolly Roger's Cookbook shows such topics are indeed included. And again, you haven't been able to hack a phone since like 1999. Like, those phones don't like work anymore, and most of them have been upgraded to digital. Anyway, if I'm like, losing my sinuses here. As for the files on Columbine and serial killers, Pilot says researching such tragedies is par for the course in his family. Okay. Most of my family has been in criminal justice or law school in one form or another, he said in this video. Since I was relatively young child, we've discussed killers and serial killers. We were always kind of curious of what could go wrong in a person's life to make them think that was okay. I had no intention of finding out for myself what it would feel like to do these things to other people. I just had a bit of interest in the macabre. And to be fair, me too. Like, I studied serial killers.
Oh no!
My favorite things on Netflix is watching those serial killer shows, and I read up. I mean, I love reading about the serial killers and such because it is just like
fascinating.
Twisted people. It is. It's fascinating, but still,
all of these things on their own look very fine.
Yeah,
but your words, it all comes down to your words having consequences.
Yeah, it does.
And putting them all together, looking up bombs, looking up shotguns, looking up serial killers. I'm sorry, I don't look up how to make a bomb or how to make a
but even looking that stuff up, like, you can't judge someone based off of that, but we can judge you off of how you threaten people.
Exactly.
Like, that is
you can look up
completely valid way. You can look up whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
As soon as you threaten someone, that changes the story.
Exactly. Now you're a danger because you've made active threats, and we know you have this knowledge. So you can have that knowledge, but the second you make a threat, that knowledge becomes dangerous. So don't threaten people. Be an agent of good. And if you're gonna make a bomb, make fireworks. Don't make explosives.
I'm just sick, and I never actually heard about a role-playing game about the Columbine massacre. That sickens me that someone would actually make a game and sell it, and the people would actually buy it.
Does that surprises you, huh? That exists.
Well, I suppose it shouldn't surprise me, but just that that was actually allowed to be done is
honestly,
there's
some horrible shit out there.
Like it.
Yeah,
just that it was allowed to be. I mean, not that someone would do it, but just that it was allowed to be done.
Allowed to be published.
Right. Well, there's this big argument on the internet. Well, I guess I shouldn't get into it because it gets way too close to
psychological math. What?
But there's people who think that places like Steam shouldn't curate what they do at all, and it's like, you do realize Steam is like
Steam
a digital
agrees.
Walmart, and Walmart wouldn't let you put something on the shelf like Hatred or like this Columbine.
This is the one situation that Walmart looks good in. Good.
Like, the storefronts have always been curated. Always, and the only time they're not is when it comes to internet and people get angry about it. But like, curation is a part of running a business, and it says something when you refuse to do any of it. It also says something with what you choose to curate. Like, both of those make statements.
Indeed they do. Shall I continue on here? Pilot's mother, Stacey Harkins, supported this in March 2018 interview with The Outline. Quote, "The same way other families discuss whatever their hobbies are, that was like our hobby," she said. I just want to stop for a second.
Serial killing was their hobby.
Yeah. I just want to stop for a second and say, their whole family's in law. They have lawyers in the family. Why was this kid given a public defender? Like, none of this makes any sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, they could have not been... they could all be a different type of lawyer.
I guess it could. Yeah, they could be business lawyers, but then it's like, I have a lot of lawyers in my family, and they're all business and like Washington D.C. lawyers. But like, they know other lawyers who are those types of lawyers. Like, it's not hard to get. I can one phone call away, and I can get any type of lawyer I want. Like, it's whatever. Now I'm just bragging. Humble brag. Anyway, nevertheless, 2 of Pilot's ex-girlfriends testified against him. Both said that Pilot was especially obsessed with Columbine, and then he had planned out how he would attack Oxford High in a notebook. Pilot again denied this, and when he testified...
Oh, yeah, this is looking even more evidence coming to light. This makes perfect sense.
He, quote, stipulated to the fact that no weapons, bombs, incendiary substances, materials that could be used to make bombs, or drawings of attack plans were found in his house. He also reaffirmed that he and any other player had just been, quote, trolling each other, and which he defined as saying random things to upset people. Carter and Pilot's cases are not rare or isolated. People have always been careless and senseless with their words online, perhaps more so today than in 2012 when Pilot was arrested. Just this week, Battalion 1944 player SusPC7 threatened to shoot up the studio of developer Bulkhead Interactive, going so far to reference the recent YouTube HQ shooting. I was literally thinking about that as I was reading that, and this is a well-written article. Because he hadn't received the unique weapon skin he had won in a tournament. Holy crap. When confronted, as you'd expect, SusPC7 said it was just a joke. Of course, even when there is no intent to act on it, making this kind of threat is never funny. Bulkhead settled the incident with an infinitely better joke, so it never went to the police. One of Pilot's girlfriends first of all, that is not the way to handle it. Like, joking and I'm sorry, like, this is not a joking matter. And the fact that the studio just escalated it with another joke.
Was actually like, I don't know how, like, reacting to this in the right way is hard, but they put so his skin that he's going to get has a giant penis on it. That's how they responded to that's doing this. Basically called him a dick on the skin they're going to give him.
All right, I love that, but that, like, in my opinion, is stoking the flames. I'm gonna mute myself here if you all can just talk for a second.
Yeah, I find it both amazing, but also, like, it doesn't actually address the problem, which is, like, stop making threats towards people, you fucking dumbasses.
And, like, again, it's just putting flames on the fire because, okay, yeah, it's funny, and he said it's a joke, and they returned it with a joke, but if he wasn't joking, and they returned it, like, he might have, like, flipped his shit when he saw that and really ran out and like, done it. Like, that's all I'm saying is you know, you got to make sure people are really joking, and it's hard to read the room on the internet because there's no room. You know, you're trying to read text and the emotion. Yes,
I don't remember how that thing happened. If his thing was like obviously, I don't think these jokes are ever acceptable, but I think that dude's statement may have been said in such a way that it could be read better as a joke, even though, once again, don't joke about this shit. So, like, but yeah, it's so strange.
Mensky saying it's psychological math. He's talking about there's a difference between saying something and saying something, then researching all the how-to stuff, buying the cookbooks. It all points to Recipe for Disaster.
Right, and I'm sorry, I believe nice the girlfriends over him as well. Like,
yeah,
100% had a book with the plans. He can deny it all he wants, but 100% believe he did.
One of Pilot's girlfriends came up when he spoke with him. He was explaining his history of substance abuse and told me that he had a very kind and loving girlfriend who had manipulated him into being who he had manipulated into being an enabler of his alcohol and drug addictions. At the time he made threats, Pilot said his alcoholism was at its lowest point and was very, very brutal. Okay, so now, yeah, I could see he was having a lot of problems here, and honestly, that actually might have been a cry for help. Then doing stuff like this, doing a lot of the times when people are super desperate and low, they don't even realize that what they're doing is actually like attention seeking in the most negative way, just to get themselves like help.
but also throwing him in prison for 6 years
is not helping.
Saved him. None. Well,
he should have been given treatment.
Our prison system needs an overhaul.
Yeah,
but
that aside,
on another level, this could have saved him from going to prison for the rest of his life
for murder.
Stopped him from committing these actions that he was clearly talking about.
Yeah, he was clearly going down the wrong path here. And though I think our prison system is horrible, I think all prison systems are done completely incorrectly. But especially for this type of person who's got drug problems, mental illness, clearly, this type of person, substance abuse and stuff like that, this person needs long-term treatment. Like clearly, if you watch his video that he hasn't released, he made it out and he seems like a better person now than he was, but
prison worked.
Well, here's the thing, we don't know that yet. It's one video. It's yet to be seen. And also, again, not to say prison worked, because he wasn't a thug going into it. He was just a stupid kid making stupid remarks who just needed some help.
Well, maybe, but the evidence, like they had a ton of evidence pointing to other, like if
I'm reading,
if he has 2 witnesses saying he had a notebook describing it, like he was bragging to more than one person about this idea.
Again, like, that's stupid teenagers do for attention because they're desperate for attention.
Yeah, but the difference between that and the Columbine shooters is a day. Like honestly. Like that's all it. Like,
I'm not saying intervention wasn't the right thing to do. I'm just saying that putting him in a hardcore prison for more time than you would even normally do for his age is not the right way to go about it. I'm glad he survived it and had the personality, that was able to do that. But there's certain people, and like if this happened to me, and I'm not the type of person who would put myself in a situation where this would occur. I don't think that I would. But anyway, point being.
Yeah, but I don't know. When you're talking this extreme, like, I agree that our prison system is completely messed up and needs to rehabilitate. But when you're talking like this, it needs to be treated seriously and like you are an adult, in my opinion. Like,
yes, I mean, I completely agree that what he did was an adult crime. And I mean, I believe he was, 19 at the time, which is technically an adult. I'm not saying he deserves to be tried as a child, but I don't think he deserved the maximum punishment plus.
But then I don't think this was maximum. Like 6 years for making
it was.
Like,
it said
like okay,
all right, maybe not maximum, but it was over the recommended.
6 years for making like legitimate threats. Honestly, not that much time.
I don't know.
Like, but also like all this comes with a grain of salt because I completely agree that our prison system is broken. So like our prison system needs to actually rehabilitate, which it currently doesn't.
Pilot says he began abusing alcohol and marijuana when he was 14. By 15, he was using cocaine and various pain pills. By 16, he was regularly taking powerful pain pills and psychedelics, such as mushrooms and LSD. At 17, he became very badly addicted to inhalants. He's got quite a winding road here. So I mean, the kid is clearly troubled, and this is why I say, like, yeah, he survived prison, and it sounds like he might have even been the right type of person to survive in prison. But he was so young that I just feel like, given an opportunity for treatment in in a locked facility. I'm not talking like he gets to go to fucking day spa, or Horizons over in California. I'm talking about a locked prison facility but it's a psychological, it's a psych facility. It's a substance abuse facility that teaches real skills how to manage those types of things. He's, you'd be in classes all day and you'd be, working in your off time to build up monies for when you get out. Like, those are the types of he's the perfect case for these types of things. If this same case was someone who was a 40-year-old dude, I wouldn't be talking about this type of stuff. But he's a 19-year-old kid, or was. Go ahead.
Well, see, to me, honestly, his age doesn't make a difference. Like, I agree with you, but I agree with you that in general, our prison system should work in ways that you are talking about towards actual rehabilitation. Because right now, our prison system is throw someone in jail and let them rot until their sentence is over, and then like good luck figuring shit out, rather than actually like trying to rehabilitate people. Like I don't know. I don't think his age has anything to do with that. I agree with you, but kind of disagree on the details. I guess.
There's hairs to split that we can disagree on for sure. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, very nice, very nice. Thank you very much. You want to maybe count those individually? Thank you for the 6 bits. Hannah. What was it? That's a perfect way to make me forget exactly my defense argument. So that's congratulations. I'm gonna have to see the argument to you because now I don't remember what I was gonna say. Let me continue on here though. Oh yeah, I was gonna say like this is an international show, and of course prison systems differ around the world. Some are better, some are worse. The United States we have one of the largest prison systems in the world. And it's drawn a lot of international attention for sure, but I don't want to specifically harp on one prison system, as I know we have a lot of EU and Australian listeners and people who probably don't give a crap about the American prison system. So I'll continue on here. Yeah. He also entered a rehab for the first time when he was 17. Since his release from prison, he's begun attending Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous. Quote, "This was when I tried to first stop drinking, which was a road that I swerved across for many years," he said, "but rehab didn't stick. And by the time I was 19, was abusing opium and psychedelics, speed and inhalants, absolutely anything I could get my hands on. Addiction was a major part of my stormy mindset at the time of my arrest," he tells me. Quote, "I have never claimed I was a perfect guy in those days. Far from it. I was extremely dissatisfied with my life, was headed, but murder and mayhem never crossed my mind. That was never an answer to me." He says, "Of course, we know how the court ruled. The prosecution pushed for 6-level enhancement, which resulted in Pilot's lengthy sentence. Pilot appealed his case on the grounds that his sentence failed to account for the nature and circumstances of the offense, but it never bore fruit. Long after his appeal failed, he was sentenced to his second prison. Pilot says he was spent most of his second sentence reading and playing music. Quote, "All prisons I attended had musical equipment programs, and each had a band room," he said in his video. "I spent many hours playing musical instruments, drums, bass, piano, guitar. I also read approximately 1,000 books, many of them multiple times. I've got every single detail, including the Harry Potter series, memorized." Thank you for the subscription, Isofella. Really appreciate that. Welcome. Enjoy the emote. "I read the autobiography of Malcolm X, which was a very influential book on my life," he said. He said, "Turn your cell into your school and your monastery. I was trying to look at it as from a self-improvement, and I really think I did get my mind together in there in a lot of ways that I might not have such a young age if it wasn't for my incarceration. Don't get me wrong, I'll never thank the prosecutor and the judge for what they did to me. To be honest, it ate my soul out of my chest. Prison is demoralizing. It's heartbreaking, and it's brutal." I'm sorry to interrupt you, but as I'm reading this, like, true, heartfelt, like, article here, and then I'm scrolling down to the next part, and there's just a picture of old-school RuneScape and someone chopping some trees. And it's just, like, in the middle of this article, there's just a random RuneScape picture. It's just really jarring to see. Anyway, continuing on here. Hey, Pern, by any chance, do you want to pick up here? Because my mouth is getting super freaking dry, and I need to get some water. Are you by any chance following along?
No. Even leaving prison wasn't easy. I basically laid around doing nothing, Pilot tells me, scared of seeing my old friends due to their negative habits and the things I had at stake. Returning once a week to take a urine test at the halfway house and receiving random visits from them. But with help from the folks at Dismas Charities Residential Reentry, who Pilot can't say enough good things about, he's slowly been getting back on his feet. Pilot is now 25, a relatively free man, and staying with his mother once again. He's learning how to drive. He plans to start college this year, which he hopes will help him find a career in the music industry. He also likes to dabble in YouTube while he looks for a more stable job. And yes, he's still playing RuneScape, now old school RuneScape. "I want to continue attending AA and NA meetings and make sure that I never get back to where I was, because the clarity that I had managed to find through meditation and introspection during my time incarcerated has given me an entirely new outlook on life," Pilot says. "I'm not 100% positive about the longer term desires, but freedom is the core of them, because I would hazard a guess that I value it more than the average American 20-something. And that's basically that.
So, wow. So, don't threaten people or places on RuneScape because you will go to jail.
Well, so the takeaway from this is that your words mean something.
The takeaway from this is the next time you're trying to crash someone at Slayer Tower Abbey Demons, don't threaten them.
Yeah, just let's lay on the fuck yous and stuff like that. And you'll be fine.
Yeah, stick with the stick with your basic swears. Don't be threatening them in any way, shape, or form. I'm surprised. Ow! I just smashed into my microphone.
What times we live in where like don't threaten people is like a controversial thing to
I
say
know,
in some
right?
ways.
I'm surprised it didn't come out as Rain Scoop. Oh goodness! All right, so that article was way longer than I thought it was, but it was good. Let's continue on, shall we? So again, I'm pretty sure everyone knows by now that RuneScape Classic is getting the boot in August, right? That's the end of it. So
Yep.
There's a proposal here. This proposal is a cross post from the RuneScape Classic wiki Reddit. There's actually a RuneScape Classic Reddit, believe it or not. And it says here, I would like to first start off this thread by pointing out the harsh truth. By far, has been the worst. I'm sorry, Jagex has been the worst company in relation to listening and looking out for its community. This broken relationship between players and the community came to fruition when the original version of RuneScape was closed off from the public. Yes, we were given the beautiful game of RuneScape 2, but the neglect continued, and the players felt with the removal of the wilderness and trade limits, this nonsense has been around since the closed access of RuneScape Classic, and has continued up until last week with the attempted shutdown of RuneLite. So dragging in a completely unrelated thing here to, I don't know, bolster a point that hasn't been made yet. Knowing and experiencing the constant neglect, I am yet somehow surprised to May 23rd's announcement by Jagex titled RuneScape Classic Farewell. I can't help but notice that once again that the players were being lied to. Jagex, the game is now easily abused with the third-party macro tools, and botting has become an increased issue. Reality. Bots have been around ever since RuneScape Classic was originally closed off, and the game has been botted this entire time. There is no increase in bots. Jagex, the truth is that bots and the lack of community safety tools are serious problems. However, we also feel that we can no longer offer long-term service reliability due to the growing risk of unrecoverable game-breaking bugs. Reality. Your implementation of anti-botting software isn't suitable for RuneScape Classic. What does that even mean? In fact, you can detect bots on RuneScape Classic with less than 100 lines of code, and I can prove it to any JMod who wants to know how. Because bots won't adapt once you learn the first way to detect them. They have no way of changing their methods at all, right? Please enlighten us with the game-breaking bugs that are ever so increasing. I'll let you announce these bugs after the servers shut down to prevent us from abusing them, but you haven't made any changes to the game in how many years? How are new bugs being introduced? I'm baffled. New bugs are being introduced because the code is literally falling apart around you. Your world is literally crumbling. Oh, goodness.
You just have to look at, as I said, I think I mentioned on the last show, where a friend went out there to try and fight the KBD. Couldn't get down there because they couldn't fight the lesser demons. The crystal chest that's jammed open, so you can't get dragon gemstones anymore.
RuneScape Classic was written to run on what? Like I don't know what backend servers I guess use, but I'm gonna guess like Microsoft server like 2001. We are now on like Microsoft server like I don't even know the latest version is, like probably like 2016 or something. Like that's how new bugs get introduced, is like you can't, like people don't, like you have to keep code updated as modern operating systems come out, or like just look at it as with anything. Like if you ran a car for 30 years with no maintenance, or let's just say 15 years with no maintenance, because that's what Classic has kind of been.
Yeah.
You run it for 14 or 15 years with no maintenance, you do that to a car and see what happens. Like you won't make it.
It wouldn't last that long.
Yeah.
You, Jagex, and its employees would have more respect from the community if you just blatantly announced that it's almost a 20-year-old game. You don't feel the need to hire staff to maintain it due to the low player count, and ultimately the game has been run by bots for the last 14 years, followed by security concerns, and you're good to go. Respect from the community, but once again, we're fed the same old story. Hell, even, quote, we're losing money on this, and business is business would do the trick. Why is this so important to me? Why is this important to RuneScape Classic? Why should this be important to Jagex? RuneScape Classic was one of the first games I played on the computer, and it ignited my passion for computer programming. I and many others had the honor to privilege of playing the original game in its glory days. RuneScape Classic put Jagex on the map, and it was the original game that brought in over 1 million players. People tend to forget this, but when RuneScape 2 was released, Jagex forced players onto the new game, and they had to revert to the second version of the game. Was forced due to Jagex closing RuneScape Classic to the public. Most of you have experienced something similar with the arrival of RuneScape 3, and unfortunately Jagex listened with old school servers. I truly wish the same happened for RuneScape Classic. It's not completely correct as to how it happened, but I don't have the energy at this point to even argue with this ridiculous article.
Yeah, like, didn't you have the chance to transfer your account?
Yeah. You had the... They had the opportunity when RuneScape 2 came out to transfer everything over or leave everything on RuneScape Classic. And that was you had one opportunity. It was open for like a month or two. Anyone who didn't transfer their stuff, it was left behind, and they were just known that you were going to be left behind.
And, like, comparing it to the old school thing is also super genuine. Like, old school exists because there was a major rift in the community with EOC, which I don't even remember if that was the marker of what is quote-unquote RuneScape 3, but I guess it could be because it's arbitrary as fuck.
Yeah, right.
But that was there was no major rift in the community with Classic. Like, RuneScape 2 blew up bigger than Classic ever was, so they didn't have to go back and support it. Like, that's honestly what it comes down to, and that's why they're closing it now. You've got maybe a couple hundred players on that game. And
the fact that it's gone this long is pretty impressive. Yeah. All right. Pern, you want to finish up this article for me? I need a break.
Yep. If you're a company and a part of your success is due to your original work, do you neglect it and throw it out, or do you stay true to your roots? There is a reason a guitarist cherishes his first guitar, even though it may have been the worst guitar of his life. There is a reason Nintendo is bringing back the NES Classic, even though it doesn't make them any money. Yet Jagex treats its original version of the game like this. Here is my proposal. Shut down the RSC servers and follow through with your plan. I'll rent the rights for RSC for $250,000 for 5 years. We'll still use your same host. I'll pay all server fees. RuneScape Classic will run the same way old school RuneScape is running, with a poll system. After 4 years, we can reevaluate in another 5-year contract, or the servers will be shut down and we'll move on. If this interests you, Jagex, please contact me. I'll be the sole dev. Resume is ready. If you need to hire me, I'll take a salary of $1 per year. Membership will not connect RS3 or RS2, but instead its own classic membership. All proceeds will go to me until the $250,000 is recovered, at which point profits will be shared 50-50.
What?
These terms are negotiable.
Thank God.
I'm American. Does this mean we could get around?
Well, that explains a lot.
If 5 years is too much, let's discuss 2 years or a 2.5. That will get RuneScape Classic to 20 years. Edit. Quoted from the 2009 dev blog. Original messages, details are unavailable. How about if players could rent and administer their own classic servers? As a server owner, you could enable or disable any cheat code you like, add people to the invite list or ban list, or give individual friends any privileges you like within the world. In this way, the activity of macroers would become pointless, as you could go on to the cheating enabled words and get all the stuff you wanted for free if you wanted. But there would still be words where you'd have the satisfaction of knowing you worked for your stuff. I should explain that your character would be saved separately for each world, so you couldn't cheat on one world and then use the stuff you've gained on a non-cheating world.
People would just, that's how to solve botting. Just make botting worlds. That always works. That's always the perfect plan. Especially if you let people choose, like that always works. But I also want to point out, like, this guy's trying to sell himself as some, like, great dev. But his first edit, I'm American, does this mean we could get around GDPR? No, nobody can get around GDPR. Do you not understand how that works? Like, if you are an international business, you have to follow those regulations. I'm not even a developer, and I know that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just want to attack him on the very first sentence he wrote here. I would like to first state this thread by pointing out the harsh truth that Jagex by far has been the worst company in relation to listening and looking out for its community.
Bullshit.
I mean, I'm sorry. It is one of the best. I mean, their transparency has been fantastic.
The other MMO I play, PlanetSide, does 1 Twitch stream a month for their dev community. 1 a month. Jagex does like 2 a week.
Jagex is like 2 a week. They have mods that are super active on like social media and on Reddit, like responding to even the littlest of complaints sometimes. Like, yeah, they put a lot of work. Like, you just don't get credit as a developer, honestly, because unless you can literally make everyone happy, that's the only way you can get credit, and that's literally impossible. So, like, you will always be seen as shit, even if you barely talk or if you talk a lot. Like, people will never like you unless your game is currently like popular. I don't know. Like, you look at something like I've experienced this a bit with like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Last year, that game was like the most loved game out there, and this year you go to that subreddit and it's just people complaining and be like, the devs aren't doing anything. They haven't done anything since December. Meanwhile, there's been 14 updates to the game in the last 6 months. But that's nothing. That means the devs did nothing. It's a thankless job to be a game developer in many ways.
It is. It's very difficult. There's so many JMods that we don't even know about that never get in the spotlight, that are just code monkeys just plugging away, and they never get thanked. They never get anything. They just get a paycheck.
Also, like, this guy, like, if this was a viable option, like, they would do it. Honestly, if there was a big enough classic community, they would put time into it. But even if it was actively developed since 2001, the community would be ridiculously small.
Yeah.
And also, they haven't wanted to actively develop it because that's a ton more work. And yeah, this person is also completely underestimating. Like, I feel like this is a guy who like read a learn to code via Python book once, and it's like, oh, I'm a developer now, ready to go.
I'll rent the rights for $250,000. Like, he pulled that number out of his ass. First of all, like, what if Jagex wants $1 million for the license? What if
250K for 5 years? That is so damn cheap for the rights to something like RuneScape.
Yeah, and then he says he'll pay all the server fees as well. I don't know if he knows how much a month that is, because like, that's a lot of money a month. We're talking thousands.
I mean, I get part of where this guy's coming from. Like, I get
it's passion, it's love. Yeah.
Like, I will probably write a post very similar to this when RuneScape shuts down.
Oh, God.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'll be live streaming from the top of the Empire State Building, about to jump off if Jagex pulls the plug.
But like, so I get the motivation, but to me, actually the post I would write is, Jagex, let us download a copy of RuneScape.
Yeah, I've seen that post a million times too, and yeah, that's a pretty common one.
And that's what that's what I wish Classic members could get. Honestly, is a way to download the game in some way, and a way to keep their character. And I know there's a lot of problematic issues that come with that, so I get why they haven't done it. But one of my biggest sad things about gaming is how little archiving there is of video games.
You can help with archiving RuneScape Classic if you want. There is a team that is doing that right now. It requires you to run the RuneScape Classic Plus client, so I recommend doing it on a non character you don't care about, I guess. Not that Jagex is banning people from RuneScape Classic, but just to be safe for your main, because you never know. But you can record all of the data from the game and then send it to them to archive it. Also, there's a copy of RuneScape Classic server up on GitHub that's been obviously, it's not legitimate, but it's there. Well, I mean, when I say it's not legitimate, I mean, it's not from Jagex. It was clearly stolen from them. But there's a copy up on GitHub, so you can download it and run it if you know how to run a Java, server on a computer. You'd obviously need to run a server to do that. You can't do that in regular old Windows, but there's copies of all the server files and executables that you need to run that available for people who know how to. There's tons of private servers out there that are thriving and existing and have thousands of players that are, active, with hundreds of players online at any given time. I'm not going to name any on the show, but the
problem is, like,
they exist.
I'm glad that stuff exists, but it's always somewhat incomplete. Like archiving games is just a real problem, and I kind of guess I'm piggybacking off this to say I wish it was something that game developers could somehow spend more time on. It is a big issue in the gaming community.
It is, yeah.
And that's just to me the saddest part about Classic. Like if there were there are actually third-party organizations that will take your code of your old game and host it somewhere, and so Jagex doing something like that with Classic would be kind of cool, because then the full game would actually be there. And it also sounds like Classic Code even needs some work just to make it work properly, because as Pern's pointed out, a lot of the shit is broken. But yeah, it'd be great to see more efforts in archiving games. That's as much as I make fun of this guy's terrible post, I understand the sentiment of it.
Oh, I do too. It's a bad post, but the heart is there, which is why I'm not gonna roast him too hard. But yeah, it is a little silly to think that Jagex is gonna let you do that. It's just it's unrealistic, but it's kind of cute. There's passion there. But anyway. I'm actually going to skip the next topic. It's stupid. And move along to the Peanut Labs one. So this is just kind of an open discussion, really. But this image here is of Peanut Labs offer, right? Which is one of the offer walls that you can use to get rune coins or treasure hunter keys or whatever when you either buy a product or take a survey or something like that. So Peanut Labs is one of the companies that offers those services. And one of the offers is for a credit card. Now, I really shouldn't have to say this, but entering your personal information into these types of systems that are used to collect your information, and pass it along to third-party companies, you probably don't want to give them your social security number. I feel silly having to say that you probably shouldn't give these companies your social security number, but there's a difference when you're applying for a credit card online and you're going to the bank's website than applying for a credit card online inside a framed window inside an offer wall ad. That just seems incredibly dangerous. So the fact that these exist, I feel the need to cover them, to say, probably stay away from those, even though you're probably going to get 2,000 rune coins just for applying for this credit card. Don't, because you just gave some random people your social security number, and that's a bad idea. That's all I have to say on that. We can continue on. A
lot of people in this are actually linking Mod Shawnee in it and sending direct messages to him about it. There's no answer from him though, or any mod. I'm just having a look through.
Yeah, I don't think Gmods have ever really commented.
They don't.
Issues with that. Make money off of. Well, actually, they have somewhat. They've said that, I think the one time they responded was "Oh, you can report to the scammy ones," which is sure, but
why?
Yeah.
We have no control. We're just
but why associate yourself with a company that has scammy stuff? That's the sad part.
Really, that connection.
I'd like to know how much money they bring in for offer, because it does give. I mean, it does give them a bad name, really, with that type of thing happening.
It must be worth it. It must. Otherwise, it wouldn't be open.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is amazing, but yeah.
So who here thinks Alt 1 is for cheaters?
Me.
Pyrnassius.
Yeah. Then you get to read this article.
Okay, Alt 1 users are cheaters. For reference towards my complaints, he's got a YouTube video up there. Save your personal attacks and anger for another thread. If you can't have a constructive conversation, you won't get one at all. Regardless of what Jagex has said, using third-party software to gain an unfair advantage over legitimate players is cheating. Alt 1 has no affiliation with Jagex, devalues skip tokens, and gives users an unfair advantage both in time and money saved. Users should be banned, and the rules should specify that using any third party to solve in-game puzzles is against the rules. If you can't figure out how to solve the slider in Monkey Madness, fork over the 200k. If you can't figure out how to do a Celtic knot, stop doing clue scrolls. People who cheat don't deserve to be able to play more efficiently than players who know how to play the game, or at least pay in-game money to bypass. Now,
no.
No, I totally agree, because we now have not skipping tickets, costume skipping tickets. We have all the tickets that they've introduced that you can buy in-game gold to do these. Now, the problem is Alt 1, as you said, doesn't inject anything into the game. So it's technically it is third-party software, but
definitely it is third-party, yeah.
Yeah, but it can't be proven that you are using that third-party software.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's not touching the game. It's just putting pictures over the game. You know, it's no difference than overlaying something on your dashboard in your, like, having a holographic dashboard on your car. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those cars that have like holo dashes on the screen, to showing you like where the lines on the road are, how fast you're going, stuff. Like, get a better car. Jeez. Yeah, like would you call that cheating while driving? Yeah, it's like, that's just cheating at driving. But at night, that shit's really useful because it helps you stay in your lane and stuff like that. It gives you some night vision stuff and like whatever.
No,
yeah.
I mean, there is a line somewhere where things like this can cross into cheating, but Alt 1, I've used it. It's an accessibility thing. Like, I understand I can understand somewhat some people's feelings, but like, I've tried to do like clue scroll sliding puzzles, and it takes me like 2 hours and generally being pissed off the whole time.
But then you should have to buy one of the tickets in game to unlock it.
And
that way I can make money to sell it to you.
Those tickets make clue scrolls not worth doing because they all come from what, Treasure Hunter? Aren't those all, or those treasure trails?
You get them on treasure trails. You can use your point. You can buy them.
They were like 500k a piece last time I checked. They were not.
They're quite devalued because of Alt 1.
They're 60. Yeah, they're like 50 or 60k.
Okay, so they crashed.
You can also now use your points. You can use your points because you get points for every clue, and I think it's 50 points to get to get.
I just don't agree. Like, I think that there are accessibility reasons to have things like this exist. Like, this is why I argue for a macro system for things like combat in RuneScape, because there's accessibility issues with having to like have 6 different buttons to do all your weapon switches, and if you could cut that down some. Even like why I argue against things like Fortic auto attacking is I think it's an accessibility issue that goes above and beyond like what RuneScape combat should be at.
If you can use this software to unlock a clue scroll, it'll take you 2 hours to do. Why can't I use something to fight?
If you want to use something that tells you, if you want to use something that racks that tells you when you should be prayer switching, or that tells you when you should be casting Freedom or Anticipate, I have no problem with that. I would love that in the game. Aww. That is what Alt 1 does for clues. It tells you, hey, you should take this action next. It doesn't do the action for you. And that's where the line is for me. If something is telling, I completely think there should be more accessible things for combat. You have my full support for those, but it should not be automated. It should be a hey,
not automated.
You should click this button. Like Rax is the best example I can think of. P4 Rax, if there was something that would pop up on your screen that would say, hey, switch to protect from range. Hey, switch to protect from mage. I think that would be awesome.
Put your shield on and hit debilitate and things like that. Yeah,
I think that would be great. Honestly, I think it would be fantastic.
Well, if they bring that out, I will agree that Alt 1 should be allowed, but until they do that, I don't agree with Alt 1.
The problem is, like, there's no way to
there's no way to test it. So
there's no way to do that because the reason Alt 1 works is because of how large of the screen area it has to read. I mean, maybe you could make one for combat, but like Rax, for example, like her magic and melee attacks her magic and range attacks are tiny on the screen, and they're constantly moving. They're not in the same place, so you can't easily make a system to track that. But I wish you could. Like this, like I know you haven't played stuff like World of Warcraft, but like World of Warcraft has an add-on system that is in depth and allows you to do stuff like that, and it's fantastic.
I mean, the thing is, I mean, it's I don't agree with it. I think it is against the spirit of the game, but I mean, if people want to do it, people want to do it.
I'll agree with that. It is against the spirit of the game.
Yeah, I take more offense against it since they released the skipping tickets because it has devalued those tickets.
Yeah.
The only thing is those tickets were extremely expensive until the Clue Scroll rework. Like, I remember trying to buy them. Like they weren't they were too expensive to be worth buying. Like now they might be worth buying just to skip puzzles. But like
before they had it, mine were only selling for 80 or 90k back then. Then they had the Clue rework, and now they've really dropped. Although actually the puzzle skipping tickets
didn't exist until some of the skipping tickets didn't exist until the rework, right?
The Master Clue ones.
Yeah.
The Celtic and the puzzle ones. The puzzle skipping tickets actually are still very expensive. I don't know why. Maybe Alt 1 doesn't work well with Clue scrolls, but they're up around that sort of
so that's what I'm talking about.
300k.
This says 476k right now for a puzzle skipping ticket. So like that's just straight up not worth using. I mean, I do agree with you that there is some crappy stuff about. Like, I can understand your frustration of like there are tickets for this stuff in game and also there's an add-on, but I just think the add-on is important for accessibility.
It allows more people to be able to do these that can't do them. So I can't go and fight raids bosses, so I don't get the advantage of making all that money off them. I can't do Telos at 500% or 800% enraged, so I don't get the advantage of making that money. But people so many people did clues and have been using Alt 1 since this come out. All those new fortunate component items, which are still listing in the GE at 650, 700k, do not sell at that price. I can't sell. I've got them in there at 350k, and they're not selling.
Yeah, but that's because of the Clue Scroll rework did its job. That's not because of Alt 1. Like
the reason so many more people are doing.
Alt 1 existed before. Alt 1's existed for years. And those things were
not
expensive.
Many people...
The thing that caused the crash in value of Treasure Trails items is because Clue Scrolls, well, first of all, you can collect more than one at a time now. That's probably the biggest thing that did it. The fact that you don't have to do a Clue Scroll as soon as you get it has honestly means that people just stack up on Clue Scrolls and then do them in a big row. But also, the Clue Scroll rework was effective. It introduced a ton of items that people wanted, so people started doing them more. Like that's what caused the big market shift. Alt 1 can't be blamed for that.
But if people weren't able to do it, they had to buy those items that they wanted. If they didn't have Alt 1, the prices of those items would stay up.
But I bet that maybe at maximum 5% of the Runescape player base uses Alt 1.
I would argue greatly against that.
I highly doubt it's super popular.
DX uses it all the time. I see a lot of YouTubers always using Alt 1 if they do a Clue
scroll.
Those are
the most plugged-in people to the community are the ones who are going to...
Ask most of our clan. Most of them use Alt 1.
But most of our clan comes from the podcast, and therefore they are more plugged into the community. Like, people who go looking for the podcast know more about... Like, the majority of players don't look at outside information about the game. Like, that's just generally how this stuff works. Stuff like Reddit or stuff like YouTube or stuff like people who listen to podcasts, that is always a smaller percentage of the community than the people who just don't look at that stuff. So I agree with you that among those people, it's a very high percentage. But among the overall population...
No, I'd say a lot more than 5% would use Alt 1.
I mean, there's no way to know for sure, but I doubt it's that many. And even if it is, like I said, I understand your frustration with the tickets, but I still think it needs to be there for accessibility. And I 100% support add-ons like Alt 1 for combat accessibility.
Isophilia was saying that you get spammed with notifications for the boss learning things. You end up dying because you're looking at all the notifications.
But I mean, if people who haven't looked, I guess there's no way to even explain how WoW add-ons work to people. But like, I was gonna say like go watch a video, but it wouldn't even make sense to you played the game. But I don't know. It really just go use like RuneLite to play old school RuneScape and see the amount of notifications that have. Like, I would love something like RuneLite for RS3. I would love that, but unfortunately, like
I know.
Don't have that from the devs. Like, I want an add-on system, or I want a third-party client. I want something that allows augmenting of combat. I think that would be fantastic. Yes, it would make more people
from Jagex. I'd be okay with it, but I don't think a third party should be involved.
I would love it to come direct from Jagex, but I don't think they have the
I would love Jagex to release a safe API for developers to work on. and let the community develop whatever the hell it wants, but it's through a safe API that Jagex has approved that can't be gamed or,
100%. Yeah. That's one of the biggest things I would love in this game, and maybe we'll get it, but it's not going to be for a long time because they have a lot of shit to get done.
Yeah, it's probably very low on the list.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I mean, yeah, like I said, Pern, I fully support this coming to combat. I can understand your frustrations. Right now it's very one-sided, but I want to see it more places. I want more alt ones.
Let me know if the stream's choppy, by the way. It says I'm dropping some frames, which is unheard of for me, but...
it's running fine on my end.
Okay, just curious to know if actually drop... I mean, I might be dropping frames. I just don't know if it's actually affecting the stream or not. But anyway, that being said, Alt 1 users are cheaters? Well, I think that's fairly subjective. It depends on...
Yeah, I don't think... cheating is a harsh word.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean...
It gives an unfair advantage, but it is a harsh word to say outright cheating. It's not like you're actually botting and doing things like that. I mean, I don't agree with it. I don't think it should be there, but to say it is outright cheating, it is very harsh. But yeah,
I think it's also like worth saying that I don't know. There's always going to be a group of people who I wouldn't be surprised if the comments to this.
I'll be right back. Continue talking.
Sure. Are people disagreeing with my thoughts on accessibility? But the thing that honestly things like Alt 1 or like imagining an Alt 1 for combat do is they actually make more people play the game because of like if you can't do a certain part of the game, like that increases your chances of leaving, and making that stuff more accessible to people who don't have, Twitch response times, for example, for combat is a good thing. Or like me, I'm pretty good at combat, but I suck at puzzles. So like there needs to be some kind of balance there and accessibility. It's definitely one-sided, and it definitely like I don't know. Like I imagine if David listens to this podcast, he would completely disagree with me because he loves how hard combat is and how in some ways how inaccessible it is. Like that's what he enjoys. But I think overall, encouraging people to have more accessibility leads to more people playing the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would just think clue scrolls are such a small part of the game, and such, for one of the few things that you can sometimes make money on, and everything has been devalued so much. And because people are after all those new titles and such like that, so many people were doing it. And as I said, yeah, so many people I know. I get called an idiot for not using Alt 1. I've had people.
Yeah,
that's just as harsh as calling us cheaters.
Why aren't you using Alt 1? You're a time waster. That's stupid. You should be doing this and doing that. And
right. I mean, the efficiency scape argument for Alt 1 is like play the game how you freaking enjoy to. Like There's nothing I hate more than seeing someone argue.
Yeah.
Like there was a really good post on Reddit the other day of someone making fun of people. Like when someone tries to tell you that you're not skilling efficiently, and it's just like a skeleton with like a weird fucking
tell
face.
Me more.
Like, yeah, that was like the perfect example. Like I don't care. Like I'm playing a video game. As I made a comment on yesterday, I said, turns out playing video games is not an efficient way to live life. Like we do this for enjoyment, not for efficiency's sake. Like if you enjoy efficiency, by all means be efficient, but don't expect everyone to want that. Like,
don't drag everyone down with you.
I'm sitting here at the moment while we're doing the podcast, just filling my divine charges because I hate spending money on it.
Same.
So I come down and just do my own and do it that way. And I could probably just go and kill a bunch of bosses and buy those. And I mean, I'm sure, a couple of hours at Abbey Demons would more than cover the amount that I'd need.
Yeah, but it's more fun to make your own.
Exactly. It's just part of the game. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I've been moving more and more to that type of stuff. Like I have one of the things that I've done in that vein is like, I won't buy a tier 90 weapon. I have to make it myself. It's the rule I have. Also, tier 92s will probably be the same way, although I have to fight fucking Solak and Telos. So
I'm collecting. I'm collecting 2 million rune essence to get 120 rune crafting.
Actually, if I can just take us off track again for a sec. What do you think about Solak just dropping the straight blight-bound crossbow and not having it sort of an upgrade to an Ascension or an upgrade to a Dragon crossbow like the Ascensions actually were?
It would have been great if it was a weapon upgrade. I think they're moving towards that. I don't think they had known that was going to be a path they were going to take with Solak, but they pulled that like a couple months ago, and it was super popular. And you know, elite dungeons are going to be just that. Where despite the fact that I'm angry about the tier 92 armor in elite dungeons, it is great that it's going to be an upgrade of tier 90 armor, therefore keeping and possibly increasing the value of tier 90 armor.
Or even, you know, if you had an upgraded Armadillo crossbows, you know, it would have been. I just think they
I think every weapon, like, they should really start. Like, I honestly would love a change where they just went through and said, you know what, we're gonna rework this, and now every the tier 80 weapon drop is just an augment to the tier 70 weapon, and the tier 90 is just an augment to that, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Like, I would love that change, or just to see them start it today. I 100% think that would be great for increasing the longevity of bosses. Because, like, RuneScape is different. Like, you play something like WoW, and, like, old content honestly dies way quicker in that game. But that game also has huge expansion releases that kind of negate everything in the past. Whereas, like, RuneScape, older content is still in some ways relevant. And I think figuring out more ways to keep that relevant and profitable is good.
I agree. Speaking of keeping things relevant, PvP is mostly dead in RuneScape, I think we can say, right?
Yep, should be removed.
So,
skilling
PvP
profits.
Only words.
You know what? Skilling profits are mostly dead in RuneScape and should be removed.
Oh, God. Don't say such things. But I get your point. So this is an article from MMORPG.com, and it's entitled, "Can Empathy Save PvP in MMORPGs?" Or just in general. So social media has desensitized us to it. Politics and media have abused it. PvP developers rarely consider it. I'm talking about the increasing alien concept of empathy. You know, feeling emotions for something that isn't you, about you, or related to things about you. A novel concept, I know. If you think real hard, you might recall having it back before you clicked your first browser icon and stepped into the my mouth is not working to me. Dispassionate PvP MMORPG that is the internet. Thank you for the text messages. Go away. 99% of people on the internet are yelling hate back and forth in arguments about ultra important things like religion, politics, and if modern MMORPGs should have or stick. Forums, social media comments sections, would any of them exist if people remembered how empathy used to work? What a zenful place this realm would be. Would it look like something like our wholesome memes, or maybe an episode of Mr. Rogers featuring special guest artist Bob Ross? No, that would be a peaceful internet. That'd be heaven. So what does this have to do with MMORPGs and PvP? Well, I guess I should read on to find out, shall I? I speak of empathy because I have a question for you. The millions and... this is just hard to read. The millions and the Tim means millions... Oh, and Tim means millions. There's 3.7 million as of this writing. He's trying to
rip off the rock there.
He's trying to... Yeah, this is just hard for me to read. The rock used to go,
the millions and the millions of the Rock's fans. So, yeah.
I hate the way this is written. Of adoring MMORPG.com keyboard assassins, do PvP games need more empathy? Does empathy by definition... wow, stop. He loves putting things in parentheses that are just... stop it. Just be normal. Write normal sentences. You're not talking.
One to read. And this is actually from an actual legitimate...
He gets paid to write these.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible.
Does empathy by definition oppose the very nature of PvP games? Could developers code empathy without heavy-handed PvP restrictions? I have no clue. That part of the process is way over my pay grade, but I do recall a striking example of the dangers that PvP without empathy represents. Lack of empathy, specifically lack of concern for your rival's playing experience, has ganked many PvP games, including my beloved Star Wars Galaxies. A long time ago, on a server far, far away, I logged in for the first time in a month to find out the war between the Rebels and Imperials had ended and the Imperials had won. I always imagined what a complete victory would look like. Did the developers get involved? I had to know more. I took a seat in our extravagantly decorated guild hall to hear the tale of how we conquered our evil foes. I was told the Imperials started to dominate the majority of the battles. Soon after their ranks thickened, the rebel army thinned. This is the spark which so many PvP games fail to prevent until all of Kashki is ablaze. Like true PvPers, the Imperials were relentless. They increased their attacks until the rebels were so outmatched and outnumbered they refused to fight. Still, the Imperials didn't give them an inch. When they couldn't outright PvP with the rebels, they turned to verbal PvP in an attempt to draw them back into actual PvP. After months...
That's an interesting way to pitch. People were getting their asses kicked in PvP, so they switched to the side that had more population on that server, and then we won.
After months of harassment, the remaining rebels moved on to different servers. Imperials declared victory without taking the time to realize they too had lost. Batman is the only Batman because he has the Joker. The Joker gives him meaning, purpose. Why does the Joker always get away or break out of Arkham? Because Batman lets him. Batman needs him. Without his beloved enemy, he would either become the villain himself or go even more insane. Wow, there's even spelling errors in here. Great. Before he knew it, Batman would be picking fights with jaywalkers and breaking legs over littering. Joker is the reason Batman gets out of bed at night. You get my point. The Imperials were so bored they tried to convince members within their own ranks to become rebels. Of course, that didn't work. How could you become a filthy warmongering rebel when you already had the honor of being an Imperial? They tried PvE. As any PvPer knows, that's like putting peanut butter on your toast when your Nutella runs out. We can tell the privilege this man comes from, I see. Not after the failed PvE attempt, the Imperial Guard started bleeding members. To stave the wounds, entire guilds re-rolled on new servers with more active PvP. Mine was no exception. A few months into leveling on my new server, I logged back into my old server for memory's sake. It felt like a time capsule, frozen still. I spoke to a person, the only one I saw, in the Best Line Cantina, only to find that they were doing the same thing I was, logging in just for the feels with their server, because their new server was down for some reason. Lack of empathy claimed another victim. How many PvE games has it felled? So again, I ask, had the players of a now-dead PvP game had more empathy for their rivals, might their servers be alive today? I don't blame PvPers. Empathy is generally the opposite of what we feel towards our enemies, but maybe that needs to change if we want PvP games that last longer than a few months before turning into digital time capsules where only ghosts and memories remain. Which, honestly, that last sentence basically sounds like the wilderness.
This is one of those pitches where, like, all right, guys, I'm just going to be the idea man on this project. What if we had empathy in PvP? Go.
It does. Just see what sticks. Just start throwing shit at the wall and see what sticks.
Because, like, this person has no solution.
There's no substance in here. Yeah.
And the reason there's no solutions is because there's no way to do that without just straight up breaking what PvP, like, introducing quote-unquote empathy. Like, it doesn't really work in a video game sense, honestly.
It doesn't work in a PvP sense. The second you feel empathy for your enemy is when they shoot you in the head. Like, you can't let your guard down. It's player versus player.
Have you seen anyone else notice that Magebit's been playing a lot of PlanetSide 2 with that comment right there?
It's true. It's true. I have been playing a lot of PlanetSide 2. Good.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's just so weird to talk about it in this sense. Like, I don't. This article doesn't really actually go anywhere, and I mean, like, the way he basically colorfully describes, like I said earlier, he colorfully describes a server getting overpopulated by one faction and the other faction leaving because of that overpopulation. Like, that is an issue on games. Like, it's an issue that, like, World of Warcraft somewhat had back in the day, where you couldn't play the PvP on certain, or you could, but you didn't want to play it on certain realms because there were very few people who were on your side who were actually good at it, and the other side was like a dominant force. So that's something that happens. But
yeah,
that's just load balancing servers, and also that's why like making honestly locking a character to a server is just a bad idea for reasons just like that.
Yeah.
There's actually an easy fix to that. The developer just needs to, when they start getting like that, develop some bots to fight on the losing side to start bringing them up and balance it out more.
Maybe, but people generally don't like bots.
Yeah, I know. I was being
Facetious.
stupid.
Gotcha.
All right, we got one more article here today. Now, we've read a lot of in-depth articles that have been thought-provoking, and some of them even philosophical. This one comes from Daily Game, and I don't know what kind of operation Daily Game is trying to run here, but let me just preface this before I begin reading this. This is not a serious article. This is what I'm referring to as a scam bait article. They, I believe, have been paid to write this in order to attempt to sell RuneScape Gold. But I'm starting to see these more and more, and I find it interesting. And I'm wondering if someone takes the time to actually write these, or if these are just computer generated. But this is called How to Avoid Being a Noob on RuneScape. And it's just, you can tell it's written by somebody who maybe played the game for like 10 minutes. So here we go.
It's written by Sarah.
So Sarah apparently played this game for maybe 10 minutes.
Sarah, quit RuneScape, went on to Guild Wars 2, and apparently now writing for Daily Game.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, Sarah is an author there, and she's got several articles out there.
Let's see what else she's written.
None of them have a comment. There's not a thing. No one has commented on any of her.
I don't think anyone's ever been to this website, to be honest with you.
No, I'm having a look. There is not one comment on any of her stuff. Sorry. Anyway,
so it starts off by saying the word noob comes from the word newbie. Apparently this is 2000, and we're learning the very first internet slang words here, meaning new and inexperienced player. But RuneScape gave it a negative spirit by, which is one word, making noob just a word intended to separate the players who are not good or just taunt other RuneScapers. Being called noob does not necessarily mean you are one, however. If you notice a pattern or fail to do things mentioned in this article, then I'm sorry, my friend, but you are a noob. Don't lose hope.
A noob. I'm sorry, she does not use capitals.
And combines compound words where they're just not, those are Frankenstein compound words. You're not supposed to compound those together. Don't lose hope or get discouraged, though. This guide is here to help out and prevent. Thank God. All right, number 1, be friendly to others and don't get personal. If you get called a noob, don't take it personally. This is just a game, not real life, so you should be able to look past taunts or bullies. You won't get put in jail for 6 years. They are a minority. Most of the players are keen to help out and very friendly, but bad behavior could overwhelm their presence. Try to stay humble and absorb knowledge before flaming or taunting people in duels. Once you get into the swing of things, playing can become a lot easier. Wow, this just sounds like the more you know at like the end of a G.I. Joe episode, just like, yeah, no shit. Number 2, don't beg or ask for free stuff. Oh god, this is one of the most distinguishable features of a purebred noob. Phrases like, free stuff blocks, or can I get free stuff, are not welcome in the world of RuneScape. If you struggle to get money to buy things, there is a fresh alternative to presumed, quote, dancing for money or free armor trimming approaches. It's purchasing gold for real-life cash! Ding! You can buy both OSRS and RS3 gold online.
Wow.
I'm not going to name the site, obviously. Sites like Censored have secure payment methods and lots of reviews. If you buy from services like Censored, you avoid scams and sketchy deals that could steal your money.
I don't know.
Just buy bonds, people.
I think you're right that this was obviously written as a promotion for sites, but this person also clearly knows RS in some way.
In some way, yes.
Like being able to reference free armor trimming, like that's not.
It's a pretty common meme, though.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Okay, this person at least did some research.
They did some research. Like they've spent some time doing some research, at least. I'll give you that. Number 3, complete some quests and get familiar with the map. They could have also just gone to a bunch of RuneScape help sites and, like, you know, cherry pick data. I guess that's research.
It's just not. It's not written like it's. You know, it's expected to be more like just made up info, but it's actually like research and like somewhat helpful things being said, which is kind of surprising. Anyway,
Quests help in a lot of areas later in the game. Some give great XP rewards and skills. Others give you better awareness of your surroundings. Now for free-to-play players...
No, okay, I've changed my mind.
Now for free-to-play players, try to examine the map as much as possible. But it is pointless. Just wander around without anything to do. Open up quest guides and walk from one spot to the other and try to memorize roads, locations of valuable trees, rocks to boost your progress in the future. Quests are mostly entertaining and provide fantastic rewards sometimes, but could be challenging also.
Okay, now I kind of get what they were saying there. It almost feels like an article that was written by someone who played RuneScape in 2006 and just hasn't played since.
Probably. 4. Don't blame the game or Jagex.
Because, like, what valuable rock or tree is there in RuneScape anymore?
Yeah, and Elder Tree, and that's about it.
Elder Tree is 300k an hour or something silly like that. Valuable.
Yeah, fair. Let's see here. Don't blame the game or Jagex. Once you get killed by someone in the wilderness or lose a big stake at the sand casino. I mean, you know, it's called the sand casino.
What's the sand casino?
Duel Arena. I mean, Pern doesn't even know it, so that's fair. Maybe they have played some RuneScape. That's what all the gamblers.
Duel Arena gambling.
That's what they call it, the sand casino. Flaming could happen. You might look even to quit, but please try to persevere. Problems are caused by your failure. Try to admit it and live with it. Wow.
Yeah, if you lose a staking duel, that's 100% your failure.
No one is going to punish or really hurt you. The bottom line, it's just a game. Everyone makes mistakes. It's hard to accept them, but once you do, the progress to 99 becomes a lot easier. The game is excellent, and if you're playing it, you know what we mean. Wow, that if that is not a filler sentence, I have never. Then I don't know. Like, that is the most not anything sentence I've ever seen in my life. RuneScape, it has survived for 15 plus years and still goes strong to this date. So try to keep a cool head and live to see another day. Is that a threat? Am I being threatened by this article now? I'm keep a cool head and live to see another day. I don't know about that one. Never share your account info. That's pretty good info. So, and you know, to never share your account info, that goes for buying gold on websites. You got to give your account info out to do that. Maybe don't then. Anyway, number 5, never share your account info. Yes, another non-gameplay tip, but regarding how a person plays is entirely up to him or her. Zezima, along with other greats in the RuneScape universe like Suomi, found ways to greatness, and so can you. This has become an inspirational video.
All you need to do is buy our gold.
Yes, simply believe in what you are doing, and God, oh God, please do not share your account info. I'm dying.
Or buy gold.
Or buy gold. RuneScape's official forums and rules clearly state that sharing accounts is against the rules. Yeah, so is buying gold. But that is far away from the most significant problem. Over time, RuneScape, out of all places, has probably been the birthplace of most scams and scammers out of all games ever. I can't vouch for that, but
honestly, there's probably a lot of truth to that because of the games like RuneScape are why modern games don't have open markets, because it's way too hard to deal. And honestly, why I'm bored of modern games is they don't have open. The free market in RuneScape leads to just a ton of terrible problems that I love the plus sides of, but it's why World of Warcraft has a closed market, or Destiny, or any of that shit.
I hate closed markets.
Whoops, I just clicked on the wrong thing. It's all because of how terrible it is to control that stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me. RuneScape's kind of infamous for how much you get scammed.
It's true. RuneScape is definitely character building exercise. You learn some real life skills here. From in-game gold scams to gold scamming websites, which is what they're advertising now, to real-life phishing and social engineering being taken to the extreme just to steal, players have to stay together and be careful to not get scammed. Friendships get buried, tons of hours invested, and sometimes even real-life money, which was invested, gets stolen merely because of one act involving an unaware player and evil scammers. No site, service, or website should ever receive your exact account info unless you want it to get hacked. Hope this helps. It's almost like she's trying to, like, tell you not to visit the same links in her article that she's writing the article for. Like she just needs the money that badly. What?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I generally don't blame authors of shit like they're just trying to
make money,
a living, and good luck making a living.
She is a terrible writer, though.
That's why she's writing this.
I don't think she was a terrible writer.
It definitely needed to be proofread.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't think she has an editor. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
But
that's what I mean.
Like, yeah, I would agree with that. But I think, like, generally, it was written pretty dang well. Yeah, editorial needed, but I don't know. It actually got some. I mean, it was very high in pie in the sky, and as we said, it's clearly there just to make you buy gold. But I don't know. I didn't think it was terribly written.
Anyway, I believe that is our final topic for the day. It was a good show. I'm glad we were able to get a full panel. I'm sorry the Ironman couldn't make it, but we'll try to do a little special involving the mining and smithing documents if we can grab him tomorrow.
Yeah, we need to complain about those.
We do. We really do.
Did you watch the thing?
I did.
You did watch it, did you? Yeah, good.
I'm gonna save my comments for that completely.
Fine.
But anything anyone else wants to bring up before we wrap it up?
No, just I'm going to be trying around 12:30 game time. Most days of the week when I'm not doing the podcast, I'm going to try and do some live streaming from now on, going forward.
Over on Twitch, that's Pyrnassius RS, right?
That is, yes.
And Pyrnassius, just if you're new and you have a hard time with spelling, is Pyrnassius. Just remember, you can't spell Pyrnassius without ass. I would say probably 50-50. I join Pern, so it turns into a little morning show sometimes. Catch him live follow him on Twitch, and you might catch me as well. It's a fun time. Even the times that I'm not on it, I really enjoy listening to Pern doing his thing. So it's nice. It's almost like a mini RuneScape Weekly. Anyway,
it is. I just sit there and just talk and shoot the breeze a bit.
Thank you very much for the 2 bits, Hannah. Goal! Oh, I love those. I love those. Those are so cute. They're like little spinning soccer balls. I love them. All right. Hannah, do you have anything you want to plug, or are we good to go?
You can check out my Twitch at Queen of Blaze. I keep meaning to stream RuneScape more often, but life's a piece of shit. So hopefully I will someday.
I feel you. I totally get that. Anyway, in the meantime, you can find us on social media. We have a Facebook page for you, facebook.com/RSWeekly. On Twitter as well, @RSWeekly. Discord for you, discord.runeweek.com. I get all the announcements of when we're live and all that fun stuff. We're talking 24/7 in there. You can also find us on iTunes. Please rate us and review us on iTunes if you could. And if you want, we got a clan for you as well. You can check out our Rune Clan rankings at runescape.club. You toss that in there and you'll get to see our Rune Clan rankings. You can also check out my progress at runescape.expert. And you can check out our YouTube channel at runescape.video. If you think our RuneScape vanity links are cool, you can also help us out on patreon.com/RuneScape, and as a reward for certain pledges, you can actually get your own RuneScape whatever name, club, expert, or video, depending on your pledge level, over at patreon.com/RuneScape. We post the pre-shows over there. You get some mage. I'm starting to do mage blogs now. I'm going to do one of those a week, so you'll get a little behind the scenes as to what's been going on with me. People seemed to like that, so I'll do a little mage blog each week over there, and that's available for free. You don't even have to be a pledger to check out the mage blog. That's just available to everyone at patreon.com/RuneScape. So check that out regardless of whether or not you want want to drop a support, if you're just curious as to what's been going on IRL with me. And, of course, if you want to do a one-time donation as well, paypal.me/RSW is our quick link. Big special thanks to our top Patreon supporters, David, Ephicxstix, Sudwood, Ricky A. Thank you so much to our top Patreon supporters, and not just our top Patreon supporters, but all of our patrons, whether it's $1 or $1 million. It's grateful. I can't talk. I am very grateful for all support, whether it be monetary or visual, if you are watching or listening, or any of those things. It's all super supported. So thank you so much for listening to RuneScape Weekly. And, of course, we'll be live to do it all over again next week. And until then, happy scaping.